Friday. I don't know why I ever say that. I never really think of it that way. But hey, thank God.
Yeah, but it's for the others who do, right?
Yeah, well,
I mean, most people.
That's true.
Right? Most people are very grateful for a weekend.
Yes.
In a lot of the U.S., there's like a huge storm coming to keep everybody in their houses, maybe even like snowed in their houses.
Yep.
And so I think this specific TGIF is a little bit frantic, where people are like trying to, for some reason, everybody needs to like buy a month's worth of food just for the weekend.
Do you know what's crazy? Lemon Kate is here.
Yeah.
She's in Victoria. Uh-huh. That's one place I want to live.
Yes.
And then we also have Deanne. Uh-huh. And we have No Two Trolls, who's not here yet, but probably will drop by. And if not, we'll be back another time. And No Two Trolls is in New Zealand, the other place that I would just love to live. Those are like the two places I want to. Victoria, of course, I am a Canadian. I've lived there.
You mentioned Deanne. Where's Deanne?
In New Zealand.
Deanne's in New Zealand.
Oh,
That's right.
Scientist.
Yeah, I have never, I don't really know much about New Zealand other than it's beautiful and awesome. You know.
Well, there you go.
I think the main cultural export that we see here in the U.S. is like the Haka rituals. That's it. That's all we see. That's all we know about it.
Well.
Because the Americans are really insulated.
I know they did the best job, one of the best jobs in the entire world dealt with dealing with COVID.
Oh, yeah, right.
I know the whole world had to cave, but...
I mean, that might be, I think having women in leadership has a lot to do with that.
So we know about the women in leadership. See how it just starts all coming out of the woodwork?
What comes out of the woodwork?
The things you know.
What's in the woodwork that comes out?
The things you know.
What do we know?
About New Zealand?
Oh, yeah. Right. Well, I know that it has is she still the president? Do they have a president? See, I don't even know what their political system is.
You can say she's the big mama. The big mama. Big mama of...
what is it?
New
Prime
Zealand?
Minister is the alternative? Is like when you don't have a president?
It's probably...
Listen, I'm sure whatever system they have is better than ours. I'm sure of it.
They have more sheep than people.
They do? In New Zealand?
How come on. That's a beautiful thing. So many sheep.
New Zealand sheep, huh?
Shepherds.
That's a thing.
They're shepherds. Pretty noble.
Shepherding?
Shepherding?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, listen, we're welcome to Friday. I hope your Friday is, I know if you're in New Zealand, it's Saturday. Welcome to Saturday.
Oh shit, right.
Yeah. I hope your Friday was wonderful. Ours. Well, we're heading into a storm.
Yeah. We're going to get polar vortexed, so
yeah.
Hopefully we'll survive.
All I did to prepare was I got a battery pack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we're pretty prepared. We got a lot of camping gear, so we can just like camp inside the house if we need to.
Yeah, and I'm not afraid to kill an animal if I got to.
To crawl inside its carcass for warmth.
That's right. We've got a lot of deer around these parts.
So today you wanted to just have a little listen to a reading of the Blake Lively depositions, but is there anything else that we wanted to talk about before then?
No, not really. I don't think so. I mean, I think we should just jump in.
You want to talk more about sheep and shepherding?
Are you making fun of me right now? Don't make fun of me right now. What is wrong with sheep? I like sheep. I like New Zealand.
Apparently, sheep are like the easiest of the farm animals to care for. Apparently, they're just like super simple, nice little friends to have around the farm. I
didn't get into this yet, and I'm still not going to because I'm just going to tease the story for when the time comes. But cows are smart, real smart.
They're testing the smarts of cows.
And they're real smart, like real smart. Like they know we're eating them.
Oh, fuck.
Kind of smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they're sitting there, like, how upset I got when we were driving across the country.
Oh, yeah. Man.
It was like right at the end of us eating meat because I was like, we drove across the country and there's these cow farms and they're
like concentration camps.
They're like concentration camps for cows. I've never seen one before. I'd never seen one before.
And then there's all this open land where every now and then you'll see like cows actually on a pasture and you're like, why can't they just
put them on a pasture? But it's all these people who are like taking advantage of this small plot of land.
Yeah, that's right.
And anyway, not to get into it, but
You're going to tell us the story another time?
Another
or
time.
You're going to tell us now?
But cows are smart. I'm going to tell you the story another time about how smart cows are. It just came in our science. They just did some tests, and like they can figure out how to use tools. They're smart.
One of my favorite genre of like little short internet videos that everybody
Yeah.
shares all the time
Yeah.
is playing music and having all the cows like wander over to listen to whoever's playing music on the pasture.
Right.
Somebody will play like a fucking banjo,
That's
and
right.
the cows are like,
But-
I love banjo.
Banjo, did you hear that? There's somebody making something beautiful out of nut. Let's go check this out. You know, it's interesting, like, because I do feel like I would feel better about eating dumb animals. Like, is that crazy? Like, I think that if somebody was like, cows are dumb as shit, they don't even know they're there. Like, that's kind of what
think
you
it's
hear about
common.
chickens, you know? Like chickens are just slightly smarter than
I
a
can relate
cabbage.
to this. Like, when I was eating seafood, I was like, I will eat squid. I will not eat octopus because octopus is smart. But
Because like
squid is
octopus
probably
could
smart,
almost
too.
speak. Like they can almost talk. Why would you do this to me?
No, they solve puzzles and shit.
They're
And it's
fucking
like,
incredible.
you know, but maybe squid is smart too, and so I'm just being a stupid person.
Right.
Who doesn't
That's what I'm saying.
give a
Like,
shit
isn't it
about
weird? Because I heard that about chicken too. Like, chickens just dumbass chickens. So you're like, okay, well, fuck it then. No. If you're too stupid to even know I'm eating you. But if they're like smart, if they're like truly sentient and smart,
Well, chickens can be trained like dogs. There's actually a chicken
That's not
training
good.
camp that dog trainers go to when they want to show off.
dogs
how
are
good
too
they
smart to eat. All right.
They make these chickens do amazing shit too. If you see the videos, they do all kinds of like Rube Goldberg fucking like
Chickens?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
you can train chickens to do anything.
Well, I don't eat chickens anymore either.
Like you can turn them into circus chickens. It's basically what the training camp is.
I can't imagine what it would like to be like. I mean, I know there was a Twilight Zone about it, but I can't really imagine what it would be like to be like, be the food.
To be food?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it.
And to know that you're going to be food.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that happens to the occasional human, right? They're like, oh, shit. Like, oh, fuck, I just got gobbled. But as a, like, farmed species, you know, the Twilight Zone episode, did you ever see that one?
the one about people being farmed?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Oh, yeah. It's good. It's really
It's
good.
one of the classic Twilight Zone ones?
Yeah.
Those are so good, dude.
I know.
Every one of them was like, this could be a whole movie. All right. Well,
All right,
anywho.
Blake Lively's deposition, as promised,
So
read
cows
by
are
Angela.
smart, and Blake Lively is fighting for her rights. You know,
Say what? Blake is taking a lot of. Is it me or is it just my feed? Because like I see Blake taking a lot of heat over the Sony execs and their double talk, and you know also like the opinion of that one presidential guy. What's his name? I don't know.
yeah. There's also a somebody named Tara something. Tara Green.
Yeah.
I'm probably getting the last name wrong.
So the execs were
But
talking shit about her.
But when the New York Times article came out, they were like, "Oh my God, she brought it on herself. She's exploding everything. This fucking sucks."
After the New York Times article.
Well, yeah. Well, and all of that happened before Discovery because they didn't know these executives whose names we'd never heard of until they're in text messages talking to each other. They don't know what's happening. They're relying on Ange Giannetti to tell them what was going on set, and Ange Giannetti is like trying to sweep it all under the rug. So she's not being explicit about what happened.
It's just amazing, like, if you know, and I think you're right. I think at least that some of it contextually, certainly Ange Giannetti at the end of the movie had a different opinion of Blake Lively than she did, you know, when she was calling her a terrorist.
No, it wasn't her that was calling her a terrorist.
It was. I read it.
No, it was that guy. With
I mean, I
the
can
weird name.
assure you she did. She may not be the only one, but I can assure you that Ange
The
Giannetti.
word "she's a terrorist" came out of the text, was attributed to. What's that guy with the fucking weird name? Pranich?
You're gonna make me do it. I'm gonna do it. I got no problems.
I got it too here.
There's so many files in this file. We need to like make files for the file.
It's Sanford Panich called her a terrorist.
Yeah. Well, guess who else did?
It's right here. She said Sanford Panich said she is a terrorist, but he's misspelled terrorist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and this is a text thread where the other person is not attributed. I guess SPE is who it's who turned it over. Whatever. He says, Blake said no way on the date. And then the other person says, to who? Sanford Panich says, so now there's two cuts. She texted Josh. So wait, so sorry, Sanford Pinich says, how do we control her creative control? And the other person said, there is only one cut, the one he previewed Friday night. She saw this morning. He has not responded to Justin yet. Jake mentioned nothing to me. Sanford Panich said, and accused Josh of setting up fake screening. She said they hired Screen Engine without consulting her. She is going to demand her own cut. She said no way on June. We are now looking at August. The other person said it was not fake. Sanford Panich said, Eat, Pray, Love, Julia and Julia in August. So they're talking about their other movies they're putting out.
Okay.
Sanford Panich said, she is a terrorist. Even if it wasn't fake, the point is she didn't feel part of that screening. She shouldn't have been brought into the fold on that so she could own those numbers as well. The other person said, respectfully, there is no process that works with her. There isn't. What is important is that we have a baseline so we know. You can tell her everything, include her in everything, and still it does not hold. Sanford Panich said, she is in editing room. Can you go in there so we understand? The other person said, it's all remote. She saw a movie this AM and said she is not going in until tomorrow. So we'll call her and see if I can get a read. Sanford Panich said, can you join Zoom? We have to know the issues. And the other person said, just texted her. So that's the text thread that we have. The date of this is March 11th, 2024. So
I'm trying to find Angie Giannetti in here is driving me crazy.
They have an issue apparently with Blake Lively not liking the cut, but none of them seem very curious about why. Her issue with the cut was that it was too sexual and there was a teenage sex scene in it that was explicit, and so like that's according to her. But these guys seem uninterested in why she's protesting and why she wants her own cut. They think she's just trying to. He said, "How do we control her creative control?" You know what I mean? It's just really strange. Like, her name is riding on this. She's the star of the movie. She's going to have to promote this movie. If it fails, it's going to be on her shoulders. She will be somebody known as having failed in her first major starring role. And so, like, I don't know why they're not at least curious about why she has misgivings about this this cut and how it looks.
I'd say it's reasonable.
I mean?
I would say that it would be reasonable for the studio to be perturbed over the actor getting so deeply involved.
Perturbed, fine, but it seems they lack curiosity about why she wants.
I don't know that they're necessarily obligated to be curious or even need to be curious, in that situation.
Here's the thing is that they have this noob producer and noob director running the show, and for some reason they're not saying that maybe there's something to this like decades long veteran who has a problem with this cut and doesn't think it's good enough. Like, it's very strange that they're not saying that they saw the cut. They're just talking about how they're pissed that she has an opinion about the cut that she saw.
Well, I don't know. So we don't know one way or another whether they saw the cut, correct?
They're not sharing their opinion about it.
Okay, but my question is, do we know one way or another whether or not they're seeing it?
I don't think these people are. I think they're higher up, and that they're people on the lower level who are more involved in the film directly are the ones who are managing this. Anyway, so that was that. Sanford Panich calls her a terrorist. What were we talking about that brought that up?
So did, I'm trying to get to this frickin' file, but this file has gotten so much thicker.
Yeah.
And I can't find now, like.
I know, you're telling me, man.
It sucks
because I want to. There's a ton of stuff that got released, bro, and I'm just fucking collecting it all. It's tough, man. All these exhibits just got dropped all at once. It's like
I think we just need to make
files
and put them in by name in their file.
That's whatever. Everything's labeled.
Because there's a bunch of Liz Talbots. I can't find Angie Giannetti. So it's true, everything is supposed to be labeled. It's not labeled in a very friendly manner.
Okay, well, I will show you where it is later because everything's labeled. But I don't know if you. Do you want me to walk you through it now? You want me to go over there and find it for you?
No, it's fine. All right. So there it is. She called her a terrorist too.
She did?
Yeah. The question. The question was, did you ever? The question came from, the lawyer.
It was in a deposition?
Yeah, and the lawyer said, did you ever call Blake Lively? Did you ever call Blake Lively a terrorist to Jamie Heath? And she said yes. So
fuck?
it is fairly clear to me that Sony was not a fan of her until it made $350 million.
Yes. So nobody likes a complainer. Okay. Like, this is something that we could have predicted. Nobody likes a complainer, even if their complaints are totally valid and that they're complaining in order to protect other people from harassment. You know?
I just don't think that people are recognizing what I think people are misconstruing what happened. I think she just lost all faith in this guy. She regretted her decision. She had her name riding on this. Colleen Hoover had her IP riding on it. Angie Giannetti, by her own words, called the set a shit show.
Yeah.
So if they're sitting around going, this guy's fucking inappropriate. He doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. They hire bad people, meaning the first AD, which is like, the most crucial role in the terms of the day-to-day or getting the day. So, I think that it's fairly obvious to me. Now, look, she craves authorship. She craves, getting her hands completely in it.
Yes, but even if she was somebody like me, right, who's like very happy to show up and do a job and do it well and like not be credited for anything ever, like I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Even if she was like me, she has to recognize that she's got a brand that she has to protect, and that if she is attached as the star of a failing film, a film that does nothing and is poor quality, that's going to reflect on her and whether she's marketable for leading roles going forward. So she has a lot that she has to take care of, right? Her reputation is on the line with this movie. So I don't think it's unreasonable at all for her to be like, I signed on to the project as the script was written. This guy is making all these fucking changes and his edit is nothing like what I signed on for. And I would not have signed on for it if it was going to be like this. So it has to be fixed, right? Or he's going to have to like recast me because I'm not going to be a part of it, I think that's totally reasonable for somebody with her star status, right? She's bankable. She wants to remain bankable.
I don't think it's very typical at all. I think it's not typical at all. It's never happened in her career. First time it's happened in her career.
Right, but how typical is it Justin Baldoni is what I'm saying. How typical is it for a guy who writes a scene like she was talking about in her depositions? I remember a scene that was supposed to be the character of Lily visiting Ryle in a hospital as he tended to a child with, I believe, brain cancer, and her observing him kindly and then inviting him to dinner with her mom. And then it became a scene in which Lily pulls him into a medical closet and starts role-playing naughty doctor with him as she invites him to dinner, asking him to, I don't remember the literal words, but examine her. You know what I mean? Like, this is what she's dealing with. I don't know how many times an actor of her status deals with a guy who's trying to pull shit like this. Delicate
said, would Sony execs support a man if he complained? And this is the thing that I think is just unfortunate about this whole Sony thing, but they have Angie Giannetti participating. But, it's real easy for an executive who's not on the day-to-day, who's not dealing with this fucking asshole, who isn't seeing what this guy is doing to all the other cast.
This is what
Again, I keep repeating it. I'm not going to stop repeating it, because in the same breath that Sony executives are calling Blake Lively a terrorist, they're calling the set a shit show. And here's where I'll get a little bit fucking emotional about it, because fucking Sony Studio says we'll only hang our fucking hat on Blake Lively. We'll only hang our fucking hat on her. They have a green light system, right? Where they fucking say the only actors that we will bank on are Blake Lively, are actors like Blake Lively. She was on their short list. They're very fucking short
She's bringing
list.
With her, evidently, she's bringing with her quality control. She's helping them, and they're berating her for it. It's bullshit. She ended up winning them all of this money, right?
They loved her at the end of it.
You know what I mean?
They fucking did.
It's fucked up.
They fucking did. Trust me, they did, because the shit show was apparent, right?
So she's helping with the quality control that they weren't able to do themselves, because they just wanted to sit in their fucking offices and bitch about how she was trying to make everything right.
I said a lot of things that I pat myself in the back for being right about so much in this case. I was completely wrong about Sony. I honestly thought that Sony was going to be on her side, because for the main reason is because it's her movie. They made it her movie.
Yeah, right.
They greenlit a Blake Lively movie. And that's just how it is. Like, they greenlit a Blake Lively movie, and I think she has every right to protect her fucking reputation and her performance if she feels like it's in the hands of an amateur, and the studio should want to completely support her in that situation, of course. Now, the going abouts, like how it all came to be and all this other stuff, it's a really messy situation. Like the whole thing is just fucking messy from top to bottom.
The problem, I think, exists in that she is voicing her concerns. She's very forthright and she's very open with all of her concerns and exactly what's happening. She is being very informative to the Sony executives and the Sony producers that she has contact with, but they are not relaying that up. So there's these guys like the Sanford Panich guy, right, who has no idea what any of this stuff, what's going on, right? Because Blake Lively is doing a very good job of conveying everything that's happening to the people she has contact with, but those people are like a fucking brick wall, and they're not conveying it any higher up. So we've got these text messages where she's being nothing but judged negatively by the people who haven't been told anything about it, Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like it's a failure on the Sony executives and producers that had contact with Blake Lively, that they're not doing a better job of informing everybody else in Sony who is now commenting.
I think Sony should be fucking embarrassed. Like, I think Sony should be embarrassed that they're having these kinds of recorded conversations about the talent that they're banking on. They should be fucking embarrassed.
Yeah, who doesn't want to play ball?
And I think it changes. I think it can possibly change the temperature of anybody's room going in. Because if I was going into any one of these fucking guys, knowing that this is the way they talked about Blake Lively, who and like every single actor who knows that producers are hanging their hats on their star power, knows, believes that they're vulnerable going into any situation. They all do.
Yeah.
You're trusting in all these other people to hold up your career,
I think
because
that's apparent in all of her
they
concern.
fall, you fall.
Right.
Right? If they fall, you fall. So to be disapproving of Blake Lively is a perfectly understandable situation, because, she can be wrong. Blake Lively can be wrong. Maybe not to Blake Lively, but she can be wrong. And I jab at her because I know she's self-deprecating, and she's, I think, reasonably self-aware. From the very brief, ability I have to see. So anyway, I just think that they should be embarrassed. The way that they handle this is just, they look awful. They look absolutely awful. And I would, going into that, if I were an agent, I would just use it. I'd be like, so what are the chances that my client are going to later find out in some kind of deposition that you're talking trash about them and calling them things like a terrorist? I'm just asking. Like, if my client has a fucking issue with the fucking filmmaker and needs to take it to Sony, are they going to be a terrorist? I'm just asking.
An issue that
for a friend.
An issue that results in civil litigation in federal fucking court.
Right.
Are you gonna have their back or not?
Yeah, where there's a plethora of
it's not like it's not serious.
Where there's a plethora of evidence that fucking Justin Baldoni hired a fucking team of fucking bullies to go out and fucking disparage this woman to the point where her career is now broken. Like, this is. It's embarrassing, but it doesn't help Blake Lively. In fact, I think it does hurt her. We'll see to what extent it does hurt her in the eyes of the jury.
I'm not surprised at all that the PR machine is using it against her, because they'll use anything against her. I mean, it's just like there's nothing off limits.
So the question by Brian Friedman, which I'm sure this made Brian Friedman, I bet you went to the mirror and he did deep breaths looking at himself. Like, just thinking about the question, because he was like, do you recall telling Jamie Heath that you thought Blake Lively was a fucking terrorist? And Giannetti, yes. After an objection.
You're saying that Brian Friedman felt good about
that?
that?
Yeah, he loved that question. He was like, he probably walked out of there and was like, where's TMZ? Where's TMZ? I got a soundbite for you. Here's my soundbite. You ready? We killed it in there.
Okay, I'm so amazed too, because as I'm reading Blake Lively's deposition, she's being questioned by Brian Friedman, and remember he said that he wanted to sell tickets and have it live streamed in Madison Square Garden. But I have read all of the depositions in your case, and I've read a shit ton of depositions in this case. And Dale,
yeah,
none of the lawyers I have ever heard questioning anybody in all of those two cases that I've read all the depositions for have been as bad at asking questions as Brian Friedman.
No.
I'm surprised he doesn't get objection as to the form of the question constantly, because he's just having a conversation. He's
leading. He's
leading, but he's also like really vague all the time. Most of the time is spent where Blake Lively has to ask him to clarify She's like, what time frame are we talking about?
Yeah.
Like, there's no other lawyer ever doesn't make it absolutely clear. They'll usually ask really long questions because they stuff all that information in every single one, you know? Anywho.
Okay, you want to get to reading?
Yeah, sure.
The chat is alive because there's we have supporters and non-supporters and they're clashing. And I'm just going to say, hey, listen, everybody be real nice about it because remember that it's their fucking problem. It's not your actual problem. So we can have the conversation and be on opposite sides of the fence and still be friends about it. And you can like and subscribe. You can. Even if you fucking hate me, you can do it. You can be helpful. You can be grateful. Go ahead, Angela.
All right. I'll just pick up where I left off, I guess.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, well, the last line of questioning revealed his rewrites. Baldoni had included the scene where after treating a pediatric cancer patient,
yeah,
he wanted them to do like a little sexy scene in a fucking medical closet.
Because nothing gets the old libido going more than a dying child.
I know, and it's so sanitary too to like try and get sexy in a medical closet in a hospital.
Yeah.
She also said, I remember the description that he had written in a description of cunnilingus, the inference being an important element in seeing Lily's face as she experienced the pleasure, and also Lily and Ryle climaxing at the same time together on their wedding night. None of that was in the script. So in their script meeting, she had to be like, yeah, about these additions of yours.
It's so weird, like that's what's on his mind when you have an approved script and, all of a sudden, you the things that you're introducing are sex. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm just trying to find where I was before. She expressed concerns with the additions. She said, I also remember expressing understanding if that was a film he needed to make creatively, if what he wanted to make now was different than what I thought we were making. I understood if he needed to work with someone else, and I offered that. So she got criticized by him with his friends, where he was like, she's just gonna take her ball and go home. Like, yeah, she's entitled to do that. Okay.
And this is referring to what? This is the 17-point document?
No, this is very early on when she first saw his rewrites of the script.
Oh, and she said you can move on to somebody else if I'm not to your satisfaction.
Yeah, like if you really want to film these scenes, then maybe somebody else is gonna be better for the role. Lily for you.
What's interesting too is because she's not even interested in the substitute. Remember something, like I got to tell you, man, I just want to repeat this again because this is worth repeating. Sony Studios only gave Justin Baldoni Blake Lively as an option, right? We saw that when in Justin's testimony, when he said under deposition, under oath, that he didn't really have another choice other than Blake Lively. And that's because the studio decides who's going to be in your picture because that's the actor they're willing to put the money behind.
Yeah.
And if you think that doesn't matter to the actor, then I think you're just not understanding the whole scope of things. Imagine if you're the person in Blake Lively's role. I'm not talking about the person and you're not Blake Lively and Hollywood sucks and all this other stuff. I'm saying just put yourself in the idea, get behind the idea that what you're going to do, what service you're going to provide is going to ultimately be the make or break. And people believe in you so much that they're willing to drop up to $50 fucking million in order for you to have the opportunity to do it. So the idea that person isn't going to have a great deal of say. We gave Leonardo DiCaprio in our little movie, we gave him complete fucking, approval rights over the quality of the movie. Of course we did. Of course we did. We weren't going to be able to make a movie with a guy like him and not have that guy who's an Academy Award nominated actor at that point in his life, have an approval right.
This is what primed me to, it was knowing your story and how much they lied in the public about your film, Don's Plum.
Right.
That primed
that we made a short out of a feature when they literally fucking approved it?
Yes.
Yes.
Where they saw the feature film.
Yeah.
They not only approved it, but DiCaprio was like, I'm going to ask you to have a meeting with my agents and screen it for them.
Correct, which we did.
Which is not a meeting you could have had otherwise if he hadn't sent you to it because he approved,
And we screened it and then they represented the movie and then the director.
But according to their story in the press, because they also conducted a fucking smear campaign that was full of lies. They wanted everybody to believe that you guys turned a short into a feature and that DiCaprio was completely unaware and tricked the whole time. Like you filmed him for 3 days and then in secret cut together a feature film with the rest of his friends. Somehow he was unbeknownst to him.
Unbeknownst. All right, continue.
Okay. Blake Lively said, I was told by an executive at Sony that I could not complain. I could not file an HR complaint through Sony.
Ange Giannetti.
Ange Giannetti said that in May of 2023. So May of 2023 is the first month of filming.
And that was the first complaint
Yeah.
registered.
She said, we spoke about a few things. What I said to her, she said, I and my baby had contracted COVID from the set, and we discussed that. We discussed issues with scheduling and that we weren't making our days. I asked her if she was told that the crew was asked to come in early so I could attend a concert, which I was, because I had a feeling that while I didn't solicit that, it was offered to me as a way to make the day because we had a strict cutoff in Hoboken and we were falling behind and they wanted me to come in early and I was often coming in early because we weren't making our days. They said, do you want to come in early and we'll get you out for this concert? And I said, I'm happy to come in early. I'm here to work. I don't need to go to a concert. I'd love to go to a concert, but I would not ask work to accommodate that. And they said, no, it's better for us. I said, okay. And I had a feeling that it was being presented as if I was the one that requested that. So I asked her if that's how it was presented to her. And she confirmed that yes, it was presented that I asked for everyone to come in early so that I could get out for a concert. And I expressed concerns with our first AD and I understood our other producer, Alex Sachs, to share. And I discussed wanting to file an HR claim with Sony, given experiences I had had with Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath. Did you tell Ange during that call what experiences you had with Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath? She said, I started to, yes. I recall telling her that while on set, Jamie had approached me asking if I had a minute without telling me what he wanted to show me, and that it was a video of a naked woman. And that I was very concerned and disturbed, and I asked him to stop. And I told her that I felt like the set was untenable and unruly, and that there was no structure, and that there was no one in charge.
By the way, if you don't, not only does she not expect this fucking video to be stuck under her face, but she especially doesn't expect it from the guys who are man enough. But remember that if by then things are already deteriorating, and we know that they are, then you have, because in the same way, like think about, for those of you who are here that hate Blake Lively, think about your hatred for Blake Lively, and then think about what happens to you when you see her. When you see her, what gets struck, when you see a picture of her, you feel sort of that hatred, right? If these are the kinds of stereotypes that are getting projected into the situation in any given moment, then nobody has a chance to even represent themselves. You can see it in like reality TV all the time when they're scheming behind the scenes and they're making somebody out to be a bad person who's simply not.
Yeah.
They just look a little suspect, or maybe they did one suspicious thing in their little reality TV situation, and then they're whispering in the fucking shadows about how this person is a deviant, a terror, a horrible human being, and they're not. This is a blatant mischaracterization of Blake Lively's situation in a spot where she might have been like, okay, well, maybe I can get out and see the concert if we're in early, so I'm down, and then they go and they scapegoat her on it. It's fucking amazing.
And I told Ange Giannetti that I felt, this is Blake Lively, and I told her that I felt like the set was untenable and unruly and that there was no structure and that there was no one in charge and that the people who were in charge were misbehaving and that I felt like I had nowhere to go. And
now, I want to put this again into perspective. Like, this isn't like an employee. This isn't the guy pushing the mop. This is the person whose reputation is most at stake here. This is the person whose status as an A-list actor is at stake. And we know that's true because her A-list status has been stripped from her.
Yeah,
so we know how important that is and how and what it meant to her and what it means to lend that to the film. And by the way, man, go look at the statistics, because I know there's a lot of people out there who don't want to give Blake Lively credit for the box office, but Blake Lively and Taylor Swift were the main reasons why this movie made it.
Should I continue?
Yeah, and that's, by the way, science. That's not guessing. There's science behind that. Yeah, please do.
Okay, so thanks. Blake Lively said she is testifying. And Ange Giannetti said, well, you can't file it through Sony because we don't run physical production. We're just the distributor. You have to file it with Wayfair. So I hope that clarifies for a lot of people when they were asking, where's the HR complaint at Sony?
Yeah, that's what she told.
And
Angie Giannetti says a completely different thing. We've been over this.
Yeah.
But Angie Giannetti does not say that. Angie Giannetti says that she told Blake Lively that it wasn't, or that she decided that Blake Lively's problems were not, egregious enough, or
so both could be true, because she could have decided that in her head and then told Blake Lively this.
You're right.
Well, you can't file it through Sony because we don't run physical production. We're just the distributor. You have to file it with Wayfarer. And I said, this is Blake Lively's testimony. She said, and I said, well, so I file it with them about them, and they're meant to investigate themselves and share the results and make it better and safer. Do you guys have any visibility into this? And she said, we don't oversee physical production. And I said, okay, then just please don't say anything while I want to talk to my team, and I want to understand how to handle this, because this is a really unique position.
And by the way, look, dude, if this movie goes fucking down, she goes down.
This is a major failure she's exposing of Angie Giannetti, to hear about a monster while it's small, and not do anything to fix it. Blake Lively said, well, I'm going to talk to my team and we're going to figure out a way around this since you're not helping me. That is a huge red flag. Like, you're not supposed to let somebody handle things on their own when you're the producer who's working with the production company.
It's tantamount to saying, I'm going to talk to my lawyer.
Yeah, well, right.
No, it is. I mean, it literally
turned into this, right?
It might literally be, I'm talking to my lawyer.
All of this in the early testimony is about these early events where people could have done just about anything different, and it would have probably changed the course of this entire story, and it would have avoided litigation.
Yeah.
I don't understand why these people are acting so fucking nonchalant about these, like, serious problems.
Isn't that a great word?
Nonchalant.
Every time I've written it down, I'm like, I look at it, it's like a good cheese. Nonchalant.
It's one of those things that would make a good name if it didn't have a meaning already.
I just love it.
Okay, listen.
Nonchalant.
Okay, she said, and I said, okay, well then just please don't say anything while I want to talk to my team and I want to understand how to handle this, because this is a really unique position. Blake Lively says, you don't normally have the studio also be the director, also be the co-star, also be the financier. When signing on to the film, I thought Sony had a greater hand in the film, which is part of what gave me confidence, and that was really shocking and unsettling. And so I asked her not to say anything while I figured out how to handle it and to make it safest and to make the workplace tenable for me and others. Huge failure by Angie Giannetti. I cannot believe it.
And by Sony in general.
She's like letting her go figure out how to fix this problem instead of taking control of it.
Yeah.
Blake Lively continues, I also expressed that others had experiences, but I wasn't going to speak for them. Question. When did you find out what Sony's role in connection... When did you find out what Sony's role was in connection with the film? This answer gets cut off, but she says, that was the first moment that I understood them not to have as meaningful of a...
role.
Yeah. Okay. So that we
Oh my God, I think Foz is here, and if that's
sweet.
true, I've missed you so much, Foz.
It's present Foz.
It's present Foz, and if Foz is back, I've missed you so much. Go ahead.
Okay, so we skip a page.
Yes.
And then we're back. Question, I just want to walk through some of the other allegations of sexual harassment. One of the things that's alleged in the amended complaint is, I believe you're saying that Justin complimented your outfit. Is that correct? She said, no. Are you saying that one of the instances of sexual harassment or something that made you otherwise uncomfortable was one day in which Justin commented how much he liked your outfit? She said, no. Did Justin ever say anything inappropriate or that bothered you concerning an outfit that you wore? Blake Lively says, there was an incident that made me uncomfortable, yes. And what was that incident? Late May of 2023.
I love how she's totally in control there.
Yeah.
She's like, no, you are not going to put words into my mouth.
That's right.
No, he was not complimenting me. You were incorrect.
You've been deposed before. Is it exhausting because you're having to focus really hard on every question?
Yeah, it is very exhausting. Yeah. I was deposed a lot longer than her too.
How many days?
I thought it was 5, but you think it's less, 3 or 4?
I don't know. I mean, I only know what's recorded.
It was many days.
Many days. That sounds exhausting, dude.
It was exhausting.
She said, I don't know the exact date, but late May of 2023. Where did it take place? She said on a bar set when we were rehearsing. He's asking, that was the bar scene. It's like they're bad questions by this lawyer. I don't understand why he's a litigator. That was the bar scene. And she said, no, we were rehearsing that scene, but no, it was not the scene. It was when I arrived to work. Oh, so That's so interesting because we were given the behind the scenes footage as if that was the incident. She's saying that was not the incident.
In the bar
So when
was
we
not
have
the incident.
when we have Justin Baldoni rolling his eyes and saying, "I guess I missed the sexual harassment training," okay,
Yeah.
that's not the incident that she's talking about. She's saying that this was when she arrived at work. That's very interesting.
Before you continue, I just want to acknowledge Thawals. I'm sorry if I got your name wrong. Silver says, Dale, I'm pro Justin, but I appreciate your insights very much, especially as no name producer myself outside the industry. I get it that probably most of the outreach came from Sony Maximum Efforts. Anyway, what I love about this comment is just being cool. Just be cool. We can be cool.
Oh yeah, man. These people are rich. They're going to be fine.
Yeah, they're rich. They're going to be fine. We can have differences of opinion and get through it. You know.
I think that the high stakes in this case is trying to figure out how much we are being manipulated by publicists and media manipulation campaigns. I think that that's where we, the rest of us, the pores, have a stake in this story. The rest of it is just celebrity gossip, right? Because obviously we don't want people to feel like they're sexually harassed in a workplace, in any workplace. So that's very relevant to all of us.
Yeah.
But the people in this case, they're fine.
Well, Silver 2728.
Don't have to be emotionally invested.
I appreciate you. Thanks for coming by, and stick around. We'll have fun, man, and we can listen. I guess I'll on this live, and I haven't got to it yet, but Timothy Busfield, there's a lot of things breaking on that case that makes Timothy Busfield look a little more like a victim in this situation. I don't know if he is yet, but there's a lot going on in that case right now, and we're going to talk about that eventually. Only bringing it up because I was very much, and I always will be, for the victims when they come out. However, if a victim comes out claiming, atrocities by another, and then it turns out that victim is the liar or the instigator of the problem, then I'm going to change my tune just as fast. So,
well, we all do a very good job by believing victims enough to investigate their claims. That's what we're supposed to do, and I think that's all that people making allegations are hoping for.
And so in this case, or any case, if for example, we were going through this case and we were finding things that made me feel like Blake Lively was more a problem than I thought, I would talk about it. And listen, I am surprised at some of the stuff. I think it was a difficult, I don't know that everybody handled it as best as they could, even though I think Blake Lively.
What, in this case?
Yeah.
No, of course not.
Yeah, I think there was I think everybody dropped their ball.
That's why they're in civil litigation, because people handled it very poorly.
Well, I mean, they're in civil litigation because of Justin Baldoni. That's why they're in civil litigation.
I'm saying
100%.
A bunch of people all didn't do a very good job of handling it, and that's why they're being sued.
And I just want to clarify that real quick. I know you all hate, for those who support Justin Baldoni, I know you all hate the idea that when she gave Justin Baldoni that statement and said, hey, sign this and let's go out jointly, that was an olive branch, but what it was first was an opening of a door. It was the opening of a conversation. It was meant to begin a negotiation between two people to come out with a joint statement that would put their public dispute to rest, and then allow whatever has to get sorted out under the surface of that, the opportunity to get sorted, right? And I know y'all think it was like, oh, she was trying to trap him and make confessions. No. That was an opportunity for them to negotiate. She was stating her side of the story in that, and it was his opportunity to counter that, and he didn't. Instead, he went to war. That's why they're in litigation.
That they got super defensive about it says two things to me. Number one, he is not really engaged in reality. Like when he got a draft letter that they wanted him to make a statement of, he should have immediately seen that as a negotiating tool.
So should have everybody else.
He could have exploited for his own benefit. He could have redrafted it, sent it to them, and then when they didn't approve it, now they're the jerks. Right?
It's shocking to me that his lawyer didn't sit him down and say, let's counter.
No, what's weird is that he took it to his publicist and they didn't even say that.
Wow, because they're not there. I get them because they got the bank open.
So they're saying that they didn't say, hey, this is something we can work with as publicists whose whole job is to fucking craft words in order to make our client look better. They were just given the fucking opportunity.
No, because they have an open ATM machine. They don't want it to settle.
This is the second thing I want to say is that
especially the crisis side.
When you bring any hint of a crisis to a crisis manager like Melissa Nathan, who is unethical and is only in it for what she can personally gain, she is absolutely going to convince you to go into more and deeper and worse crisis, because that means that she gets paid more.
Don't ask the tobacco companies how to quit smoking.
Exactly. So Justin Baldoni made a huge fucking mistake by going and showing that potential olive branch.
Yes.
That golden bridge he could have built for his opponents to retreat across.
No, he
brought it to the worst fucking person.
He needed a rational attorney, a transactional attorney, not a litigator.
No, or he could have brought that to Stephanie Jones.
No, I'm telling you, he needed a rational attorney, because a rational attorney would understand how to decipher everything about that note. In terms of like the blocks of negotiation, to figure it out better than anybody. He needed a totally level-headed, rational transactional attorney to be like, oh, they want to make a transaction here.
Here's what I want you to do this weekend.
Yeah.
You have a homework assignment, okay?
Oh, shit.
Are you ready?
I'm fucking terrible at homework. What is it?
I want you to take that draft
letter. There's going to be an ice storm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want you to take that draft letter, and I want you to draft what Justin Baldoni should have turned it into.
Sure, I'll do that. I'll
where
give
they were
my
like,
notes.
I want you to say something like this, and then he turns
I'll
it
do
into...
that. Okay, I'll do that.
That's what he should have fucking
I'll do
done.
that this weekend, and we'll...
All of this could have been over. It could have been...
It could have been over.
It could have been fucking blown over.
100%.
He could have made a bunch of money.
Yes.
He could be fucking surfing in Hawaii all the same without all this fucking
He could be
litigation
figuring out how to repair his thing. The other thing is that it's clear, and he's made it clear, which is weird to me because he was like, his whole life is built around it, but he has this absolute hatred for Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
And he has he has a total disdain for it.
Dark and evil place.
Dark and evil place and all this other stuff. And look, dark and evil lurks in every corner of this fucking earth, man. It doesn't matter if you're in fucking Hollywood. It does.
No, it doesn't.
It does. Hey, listen, I've seen it in every fucking sector of my life.
Yeah. That's because you're in America.
I've been in Hollywood, and I've been in fucking, Fortune 500, and I've been in mom and pop shops, and there was always somebody willing to stab another in the back in every one of those scenarios. Unfortunately, my back is wildly scarred. Mm-hmm. But there's just because, people who stick their neck out, they get on other people's nerves. People who rise to the occasion in new jobs and suddenly become the new star, that gets on people's nerves.
No, there's a name for it. They call it tall poppy syndrome.
Tall poppy syndrome, indeed. Yes, they do.
If you're the tallest poppy, you're the one that gets mowed.
Yep.
You're the one that gets wind blown.
Exactly.
And
that was Blake Lively on It Ends With Us. And the problem with, and I've always said this, man, about this production, the problem with this production was that Jamie Heath and Justin Baldoni did not have a hold of it. It was a mess. And that left them vulnerable. And who swept in? Blake Lively. And yes, you all made a big bad wolf out of her, but somebody had to save that production, because if they weren't getting the days, it was going to go into a spiral. And they knew it. Mm-hmm. Okay, you can continue.
Okay. So Blake Lively said that the incident where Justin Baldoni commented on her outfit, as the attorney puts it, she says, no, we were rehearsing that scene, but it was not that scene. It was when I arrived at work. She said, he wants her to be more specific. What about whatever happened there made you feel uncomfortable? Again, these attorney questions are just unbelievable. It's like he never went to school. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Okay, Blake Lively said, I had a newborn baby, and I had a jacket on that was covering my dress underneath, and I bent down to pick something up, and the jacket opened. And my dress was low cut because it's easier to feed my baby. And Mr. Baldoni said Justin said in front of Jenny Slate, and I don't remember specifically who else was there, but he said, I like your outfit, and he gestured at the chest. The attorney said, you just made a movement of your hand. She said, yes. He said, it's hard for the court reporter to mark those down. What do you mean he made a gesture of his hand and said, I like your dress? And she said he
dressed is pretty interesting, because I saw it as D-R-E-S-T, dressed.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I misspoke.
You're good.
Blake Lively said he gestured across the chest. I like your dress.
Right, he just did this.
Question. He did one of these. What if he did one of these?
He just built a little breast shelf.
What if he did jazz hands? Question, did he gesture across your chest or his chest? And she does it again. The court reporter doesn't record it, what she's doing. But
very strange that they didn't.
He said, I like your outfit, is all she says. So the lawyer is trying to get this down on the transcript.
Record?
He said he moved his hand up and down, like above and below his chest or your chest. She said, I was standing in front of him, so I don't know whose chest, but he didn't touch my chest, if that's what you're asking. The attorney said, when he made the gesture in front of his chest, was his arm closer to his chest or closer to your chest? She said, I don't recall. And what were you doing during this time? Was it during a rehearsal of some sort? See, he's not even listening. She said, we weren't rehearsing the scene yet, but I was on set to rehearse the scene. And who else was present, if anybody? She said, the person I remember most is obviously Justin Baldoni, and the other person I remember is Jenny Slate. I know there were other people in the room, but I don't know who experienced that other than the people I mentioned. And when you say experience that, you mean who else saw it, who else witnessed it? She said, yeah, there may have been others who saw it and witnessed it. I don't know.
Not going to be SH, obviously. I mean, this isn't SH, but this is like, this is the shit show.
I think you said you were wearing a low-cut dress. Is that correct? She said, under my jacket, yes. And was the low-cut dress to facilitate breastfeeding? She said, yes. Was the jacket or coat that you were wearing, was that an item that you personally owned, or was it something that the studio purchased for the movie? She said, I was wearing my own clothes. Was it part of the costume for the role? She said, no. This is another thing.
Oh, my God.
He keeps saying, when he's defending himself, he keeps saying that he is a director who's entitled to compliment or make a comment about the work.
Well, this is about the whole Jenny Slate thing.
She's in her own clothes when this happens.
Yeah.
So,
this is it though. Like, here's the thing, guys. Like, I know, like, you guys want to give like Justin Baldoni a pass for this, but if it is inappropriate to speak about people this way on the set when you're the boss, let alone even when you're not the boss.
This is the very first.
But let alone when you're the boss.
In any HR sexual harassment training that any employee or employer goes through,
you can't do it.
You don't comment on a woman's clothing or body or the clothing on her body. Like, it's just a super high risk conversation to have.
But it also goes to what he's thinking. Like, it goes to where his mind is, right? It just goes to where his mind is. Because if his mind is on how she looks,
I like your boobs.
Or just like, you look great, as opposed to, and I know that sounds petty or whatever, or maybe, but it's not, dude. It's not. It matters. It matters a great deal. It matters a great deal for him to turn around and say, how are you? What's going on? Do you feel fine? As opposed to like breaking down her physical appearance.
Like
it's
your dress.
And it's more nonsense because, like you said, in terms of the way in which they try to scapegoat things, like his low bone density in his back or whatever. Like, it's just utterly stupid. Like, if you've got a bad back, Blake Lively's weight is not the issue.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a different issue.
It's a different issue, but it's the same sort of thing where, you compile these things into this nonsense that is, that gets him, to walk away scot-free and not be this person who's being an agitator at the very least.
She says, I was in my own clothes. This was rehearsal. She said it was a blue corduroy jacket. It's my husband's coat. She said, I don't know how to say it's like a blazer style, I would want to say, but an oversized blazer where the collar and everything comes upward. There's buttons, not a zipper. It's made of corduroy. He's asking all these questions about how long was the coat to my thighs? So would you say that that's waist length or knee length or ankle length? I guess it's not thigh length then, right? This fucking lawyer.
Is this Friedman?
Yeah.
He's trying to get the picture himself.
Tell me what you were wearing. I want to picture it.
It's happening again. How low do you have to go?
He's asking so many questions. Like, he only has a little limited amount of time, but he's like,
he's sitting there trying to get like,
what color was it? Blue? Was it solid or did it have a print? It was solid. Was it closed with buttons? Yeah, there were buttons. Not snaps. No. Like, what the fuck? Like depositions are not usually like this. It's fucking weird.
It'd be funny if you at some point was like, sounds fabulous.
Where'd you get it?
Sounds fabulous. Yeah.
To your knowledge, was Justin able to see what you were wearing underneath the coat? She said, not until I bent down, no. And what happened when you bent down that allowed him to see what you were wearing under the coat? She said the coat opened up. And when the coat opened up, it revealed the dress. She said, well, can you be more specific what you're asking? When the coat opened up, was it just one button that opened or a bunch of buttons that opened up? Did she just burst out? Did the entire coat open up? She said, I never said I never said the buttons opened up. I don't know that the buttons opened up. I know that the coat was covering me, and when I bent down, it opened, and it exposed the upper region.
She's talking about it just like doing this, right?
I don't know what Friedman's problem is. I can picture exactly what the fuck
Yeah, this is easy.
About.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's taking up his own time, though. That's what's so strange about this. It's like he doesn't have very many questions or what. She said, I was wearing a dress. When I bent down, I'm just trying to skip through this. Had that ever happened to you before when you bent down with a jacket? Sometimes jackets open when you bend down, says Blake Lively. I don't know with that jacket specifically. She said briefly. Now he's trying to nail down briefly. It wasn't more than 3 minutes, was it? She said, I don't believe so, no. The dress that was underneath the jacket, was that something that you personally owned? She said, these were my clothes for the 4th time, she said. He's asking what the dress was made of. It was
There's no objections there? There's no like asked and answers objections?
No,
because he's doing it over and over again.
He wants to know the print of the dress. It's fucking weird.
He's probably got a closet full of them. And I'm not saying that to slight him. I'm saying he probably has a closet full of them.
Now she's saying that it was a low cut. Did your cleavage show? She said, I believe so, yes.
Yummy.
Are you certain of... Dale.
I'm saying that's what he said.
Are you certain of that, or did you just believe so? She said, well, you have to be more specific with the question. Are you talking about the dress, or... Mr. Friedman asks, did your nipples show? Blake Lively says, no, not that I'm aware of. What the fuck? And the dress was specifically designed for ease of breastfeeding, is that right? She said, I don't know what the dress was designed for. I didn't design it. What was the purpose of wearing the dress, to make it easier to breastfeed? She said, yes.
For the second time.
Did you always wear those types of dresses or shirts that made it easier to facilitate breastfeeding in May of 2023? She said that was the only time I remember wearing that dress. What other types of clothing did you...
She doesn't wear the same dress twice, really, you fool.
You know what's weird is like, this is just a little bit too much like, what was she wearing? When you hear about somebody who gets like, you know, like pawed at by a stranger or something, you're like, oh, was she asking for it? Like, he's just getting a little bit too... Just asking basic questions about what she was wearing isn't weird, but that he's going into 4 pages now of detail about like, what color was it? Was it print or solid? Like,
weird.
It's just a little
Can you
weird.
see your nipple?
She said, I was breastfeeding often. I had a newborn baby. I don't recall. But
so what, they didn't say were your breasts
low-cut...
exposed? Like,
she said, but I don't often wear low-cut clothing to work. Was it something important in May of 2023 that you wear something that made breastfeeding easier for you? She said, I didn't have much time to feed my baby, so if there was a way in which I could remain as covered as possible while breastfeeding, that was always a goal for me. You said that Justin commented on how much he liked your outfit. She said, yes. Do you recall his exact words? She said, I believe he said, I like your outfit. It was the inflection and the gesture that felt uncomfortable to me. And you recall him specifically saying the word outfit. She said, I believe so.
We all know what that means. We all know what that is. That's not something you make up.
She said, I mean, it was the hand gesture that he made. I also said it was the inflection, the way he said it, and the context surrounding the moment.
You know, he's like sexy timing it.
Yeah. She said there was a knowing inflection. It wasn't a casual in passing inflection. I also hadn't just walked in, so it wasn't the moment he saw the outfit. It wasn't until I bent down and the coat opened that I got the compliment on my outfit.
She used the word compliment.
She said, I felt uncomfortable. I felt exposed. I felt humiliated. I felt ashamed. And I felt like it felt bad. She said, I felt bad.
Does that sound like an exaggeration for the moment? Embarrassment? Well,
she walks in for
I guess you can have a flash of embarrassment in it and register it.
Yes, absolutely. Also, she's obviously very busy if she's trying to figure out how to manage feeding her baby, and she's showing up to a rehearsal of a scene on an active set where Jenny Slate is there and Justin Baldoni is there. And what does he do? Instead of keeping his lead actor in the mindset to succeed, is he wants to fucking make a comment about her body and make her feel small and vulnerable. And I just feel like that is just the most... It's just... He doesn't ever seem to have his eye on the fucking prize. You know?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't ever seem to understand that him acting professionally is helping everyone else succeed for him.
Especially him. Especially him. It's helping everybody, especially him. Because it's just like every kind of billionaire situation. So now he made a comment. He's got this whole thing underneath him that is trying to lift him up.
So now he made a comment. Now his fucking lead actor is like, what the fuck, dude? Now he has to deal with that. Everybody else is like kind of awkward. Like, great way to start your rehearsal for your fucking multi-million-dollar film you're trying to shoot and succeed at.
It's amazing.
Like, it's just fucking, who does this to their own? It's just a self-saboteur every single day of his fucking life.
Yeah.
It's crazy. When Justin was saying that he liked your outfit, do you know whether he was referring to your coat or your dress or the combination of both? I don't know how long he's going to go on with this. This is crazy. I can't believe he's eating up his own time.
I'll just rip through it, you know?
She said, I felt like he was referring to my chest because he was gesturing. That's my recollection. And then he's just,
Well, if you don't want them to refer to your chest, maybe don't bring your chest.
and do you know, maybe you shouldn't have brought your chest to work.
Maybe you shouldn't bring your chest to work.
And do you know how long that gesture lasted for? She said long enough for me to feel awful. Are you asking how many times his hand pumped up and down? She doesn't know what the fuck he's asking. I think I'm asking how many gestures he made. Was it more than one gesture? She said, I don't understand your question.
You're wasting your time.
I know, it's unbelievable.
I mean, it's kind of fun for her because it's like, this is what you got?
He's asking which hand, right or left. She's like, I don't remember.
Come on.
He's asking again and again.
This is how they'll try to get me for my book. They'll try to be like,
well,
do you remember exactly him smiling in the way? And I'll be like, no.
Do you know what brand of peroxide it was that you guys poured onto Leonardo DiCaprio's asshole?
Ralph's brand. I'm going to go with Ralph's brand. Did you just make that up? Probably because it's peroxide.
I think that he's asking her this because he wants to catch her in what he calls a lie, but it's just such a small event. I don't understand why he's still going on about it.
Do we need, hang on, can you hang on 1 second? Do we need some, is everything all right? Are we being, I saw a concerned citizen, Austin, saying that she's going to split because the chat's out of control. And I love Austin. I don't want Austin to leave. Everybody be cool, bro, please. Just be cool. We can be cool here. I'm cool, you're cool, we're cool. The only person that's not cool is Justin Baldoni.
What's going on in the chat?
I don't know. Austin's pissed because I guess it's, I don't know. I'm not even sure that Austin is pissed. I'm just saying that Austin does not want to be further exposed to whatever's going on in the chat. I don't know.
What did you say, if anything, after Justin complimented your outfit? She said, I don't remember, but I remember grabbing my coat and covering myself. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Do you recall, during the making of this film, do you recall complimenting anyone's outfit? Can you believe it? She's like, did you ever call anyone else's dress nice? She said, a specific recollection of a moment of complimenting someone's outfit. Specifically, no, I don't have a specific memory. Has anyone else complimented your outfit you were wearing during the make of the film? She said, yes. Who else did that? I don't remember specifically, but I do remember people being complimentary of the wardrobe. When you say people...
They're talking about the she's talking not about her everyday clothes.
Yeah, she's answering a stupid question. Were you offended by those comments? She said, no, I never had anybody... The context surrounding the interaction I had with Justin Baldoni. Another instance of sexual harassment that you've identified is that Justin called you or what you were wearing sexy and hot. Are you aware of that? She says, I am aware of that. Are you aware that's one of the allegations that you're saying that was sexual harassment, is that Justin said that either what you were or what you were wearing was sexy or hot? Can you tell me about the circumstances? Okay. Blake Lively says, let me see. The bar was set for the film. It was a real bar, but it was used as a location in the movie. It was early in the day. There was a table that we were all acting around. That was probably in the middle of the bar, but we hadn't begun the scene yet, so we were in the midst of the bar set. He asked me to remove a coat that I was wearing, which was a wardrobe coat, which was a part of the look that had been photographed and shared for that scene. And when we arrived to set, he asked me once I was on set amongst the others. I remember once again Jenny Slate standing there. And he said, can you take your coat off? Can you take off your coat? And I thought that it was a more interesting outfit to wear the coat. I thought it was more eclectic and dynamic. And he said, well, we want to see it without the coat. So I took the coat off, and under the coat, I was wearing a onesie that was zipped low with a lace bra peeking out, because the scene after this is a sex scene, or a hookup scene rather. And he asked me to take off the coat. So I'm standing amongst many cast members and extras, and I felt on display. And he said, I think you look sexy. And I said, that's not what I'm going for. And he said, oh, I'm sorry, hot? And I said, not that either. And then he said, well, I guess I missed the HR meeting. And looked at me. I remember him being aware of Jenny Slate and getting a little huffy and walked off. And I performed the scene without the coat.
You know, people who don't want that makes that inappropriate. You know, people who don't appreciate that makes that inappropriate. Like, if you're cool, with somebody calling you sexy and hot, if it makes you feel good, that's great. You know, if you can't relate to her not being comfortable with that, you know, that's cool. You guys are in different spots in life in that regard.
It's also extremely fucking bonkers for me to imagine any big director of any status whatsoever getting huffy when he says something that his actor is a little bit bristled by. Why on earth would it benefit him and his work and the thing he has to accomplish that day for him to get huffy? To roll his eyes like we saw in that BTS footage?
Yeah.
For him to roll his eyes and be like, I guess I missed the sexual harassment training. Like, how does that fucking benefit you, bro? Like,
He's on his fucking heels, isn't he?
He is.
He's
all
on his
the
heel.
fucking time. He's constantly offended.
He's the boss.
Right? He's offended.
And he's on his heels, and that's what makes the whole thing unstable. And like, I'll tell you what, man, there's not a production in Hollywood where if you've got that kind of instability in the key positions, somebody isn't going to swoop in. It's how directors get fired.
Yeah.
And we know Alex Sachs wanted Justin Baldoni to be removed for incompetence. And she's a producer of 22 movies, man. 22 movies she has produced. She's had some time at the wheel, bro. She knows what she's doing. And so if she's seeing Justin being incompetent, then there's probably incompetence there. You know what I mean?
Did you ever have a conversation with Justin about that incident? She said yes, more than one occasion. Where did that take place? On the set. Did you initiate the conversation or did he? She said he did. What did he say? Blake Lively said he attempted to excuse and justify and backpedal. He said that he acknowledged that I don't know the exact words, but that he, is someone who makes mistakes. And he wasn't making points that I felt were coherent. I didn't understand quite what he was saying, and I don't believe Jenny did either. She then jumped in to talk about dynamics on a set and how uncomfortable it can be when you're getting unwarranted comments. And he never asked me if I was okay. He never told me that he never told me that that was inappropriate, that he personalized those comments and that it would never happen again. And that he understood the mistake that had been made and acknowledged what had happened. And I never felt reassurance that he understood to tell me that he wouldn't put me in that situation again. I understood that he knew he had made a mistake, but I felt like he was trying to get me on board with understanding why that was okay.
That he made the mistake?
Yes, that's really interesting. She's like, I didn't feel reassured. He never told me that that was inappropriate, that he personalized those comments, and that it would never happen again, and that he understood the mistake that he had been made and acknowledged that it had happened. And I never felt reassured that he understood to tell me that he wouldn't be putting me in that situation again. I understood that he had made a mistake, but it felt like he was trying to get me on board with understanding why that was okay.
It's the cover up.
What did he say that gave you the indication that he was trying to get you on board with this being okay? Blake Lively says, like I said, I don't remember the specific words he said because he wasn't really making a lot of coherent points. He had been in what felt like a retaliatory mood since I said to him, that's not what I'm going for, and not that either. That was something that I knew of him when I expressed a boundary, that behavior. And I was always very uncomfortable afterwards because I knew that I had to be in scenes and maintain some level of chemistry and camaraderie with this person. So it was those were all very unsettling moments where there was a lot coming up. Question. Did he ever say, when you spoke to him about it, did he ever ask you whether he had crossed the line? She said, I think I made it pretty clear he had crossed the line. Did he ever say, though, did I cross the line? Did he ever ask you? Blake Lively says, I believed him to have an understanding that he crossed the line from his behavior.
Well, it wouldn't matter. He doesn't have to say he crossed the line for him to have crossed the line.
He says, Blake Lively says, I think it was very obvious that I felt he had crossed the line. I can't tell you what's in his head, but I can tell you that I was quite clear. I don't recall him asking me anything. I recall him speaking at me. That's interesting. Excuse me. Was this incident on the same day that he had complimented your outfit, or was this a different day? She said, it was the same day. Okay. There's a little skip here. What's going on in the chat?
So it's
Pandemonium.
It's pandemonium. There's a lot of chatting. It's good. It looks healthy. It looks like people are talking. Cosmic Urgency is changing the subject, and it's working. They're talking about a band that I'm obviously going to check out. What are they called? Who is it? Geese. Or did we see that already? Geese at
they're on
Bonnaroo?
I think they're going to be on Saturday Night Live next. So we'll see them.
Yeah.
Because we watched that show.
Yeah.
For better or worse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lorne Michaels needs to retire. What is with these people? Just fucking retire.
Well, he's fucking obviously awesome at what he does.
Go smoke a cigar, bro. I like the idea of Tina Fey taking over.
Yeah, you and everybody else.
Yep.
Okay, do you want to hear more?
Yeah. That's what I'm here for, man.
Okay, question.
Thank you, by the way.
So,
Thank you.
Thank me?
Yeah, for reading.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, whatever. I have a nice time.
There you go.
So we had talked about what you were wearing, your personal clothes earlier, and now you say that Justin said hot and sexy, and I'm trying to find out what you were wearing when he said that.
It sounds so hilarious, dude.
Because he doesn't formulate questions like a fucking normal lawyer would. He's like, hang on, say it slowly. I want to write everything down. Can I draw us a picture? Okay, Blake Lively said, when he said that, it was after he asked me to remove the coat, the wardrobe coat, from over top of the onesie that I was wearing. So
she explained this. It's so fucking annoying. But you know what? I love this because for her, as far as deposition goes, the reason her lawyer isn't probably objecting because she knows she's going to answer correctly. And she knows he's just wasting his fucking deposition time. Yeah.
It's his time he's running.
It's because there's not a lot for her to answer.
Yeah. So at that point, I was wearing a onesie that was zipped low with a burgundy lace bra peeking out. And, sorry, I'm just going to skip. He's just going over and over. All of the wardrobe had been approved in advance. She said that was my understanding. I don't know who made approvals, but when you do a fitting, you take photos for any of the decision makers to approve. And if there's an issue, the wardrobe designer will come to you and that got cut off. This is another thing about her taking over the wardrobe. This is Blake Lively explaining how it goes.
Okay.
I don't know who made approvals, but you do a fitting. You take photos for any of the decision makers to approve. And if there's an issue, the wardrobe designer will come to you. Her answer gets cut off, but, she's explaining how that works.
It's simple, dude.
I think a lot of this case was them exploiting people's ignorance about how movies are made.
And if anyone
and behind the scenes and everything.
If anyone at Wayfair or Sony were getting annoyed by it, that's nothing new. Like being annoyed that your fucking actor wants more or better or, and that's going to make you spend more money. Nobody likes that. It's not good news when they're not all like, oh, guess what, everybody? Blake Lively wants a new wardrobe, so we have to spend the money on it. They're not going to be hunky-dory about it, but they don't care in the same way that your parents are like, here, take the money and now fuck off. You know what I mean? They don't want to give the kids the money, but they do because when they do, the kid leaves them alone.
Yeah.
It's like that. I mean, it's an annoyance. It's not fucking something you would pin to somebody's character.
Okay, this question. Were you uncomfortable or felt like you were harassed as a result of hugging and touching? And she says, the first time, no. When was the first time? She said, well, there were a lot of hugs. Do you recall the first time? She said, no. Okay, I recall the first time on set, the first day on set. Are you alleging that you felt uncomfortable or sexually harassed as a result of hugging on the set? She says, there is more context. The first day on set, there was a lot of hugs. And I made an announcement. I said, okay, great. We all hugged each other. We all liked each other. We're all happy to be here. Let's not do that every day. We got it.
Yeah.
We're all happy to be here. Let's do our work.
Hey, can you imagine waking up every morning, going to your job and hugging every fucking buddy in the office at least once? At least once?
I can't imagine.
You might hug them after lunch too because, man, wasn't that a good lunch? Here, give me one of these. I need one of these.
God. And the rest of the crew, to my recollection, didn't insist upon it. It was as if there was an organic moment. They may hug each other, I'm not sure. But the difference with Justin and Jamie is that they would come for the hug every day. And if you didn't hug them, they would become prickly and standoffish and shut down. I fucking hate that so much.
It's so annoying.
Have you ever had male friends that do that? Well, where's my hug?
No,
that shit?
I don't get where's my hug. I never got where's my hug.
I'm saying, do you have male friends? Because it's
who do
always
that?
men who do that to women.
Yeah.
Oh my God, It's the absolute fucking worst. It makes me homicidal.
I've grown to loathe it.
And if you didn't hug them, they would become prickly and standoffish and shut down. Oh, it just makes my skin crawl.
Yeah, that's nasty.
So my issue with the hugging and touching is when a boundary is expressed and the boundary is not respected, or when the boundary affects the work because of the person's reaction to receiving a boundary, a physical boundary. That's the end of her answer. So, and do you recall specifically any instances where you didn't provide a hug to Justin and or Jamie, and you felt like you were somehow punished or responded to in a negative way? She said, "I often tried to busy myself so that I didn't have to give hugs." She's like,
sorry.
Shit,
I have all these cans with vegetables in them.
Oh my God, I'm carrying this basket of like
she's like got cables.
Loose papers.
She's got cables. Like, where does this go? And Justin's like,
suddenly just like picks up
I was going to ask for a hug, but I guess your hands are full. Aren't they always?
She said, "I often tried to busy myself so that I didn't have to give hugs. Sometimes it was easier just to do it and get it over with so that the work wouldn't be affected because I found Justin would be less collaborative." God, he's such a fucking baby. And so I remember on a flower shop day, he was attempting to give a hug.
What it means is that she doesn't like him, see? When she doesn't hug him, it means she doesn't like him.
Yeah, no,
and if she doesn't like him, it means
like,
she's probably going to be doing something bad to him.
He's emotionally wounded.
She probably tells people she doesn't like him because she doesn't like him because she doesn't hug him.
Meanwhile, she's got like fucking 3 toddlers at home and a newborn, and she's like, "I just don't want to be fucking touched for just 5 minutes of the fucking day, if that's okay with everybody." Okay, and so she said, "I remember on a flower shop day, he was attempting to give a hug, and I really, really didn't want to be touched or to be..."
Stiff-armed him.
Just like right in the neck.
Just stiff-armed him like fucking Saquon.
She said, "I remember on a flower shop day, he was attempting to give a hug, and I really, really didn't want to be touched or be forced to touch him. And so I was viewing the shop in awe, and the shop was amazing. But I really busied myself with remarking on the production design and every detail so that I could avoid having to hug him. And he, followed along behind me. And that was always...
Like a puppy.
Felt like it was always expected that we do that." Question, "And how many times did you not hug Justin and he responded negatively?" She said, "My recollection is that every time I didn't hug him, he would shut down." "Was that every day?" She said, "No, there were some days where it was easier just to hug him." Oh my God. Question, "But every day you didn't hug him, your testimony is that he would shut down?" She said, "My recollection is that he would become prickly, yes." "And what do you mean by prickly?" She said, the warmth.
Grab a cactus with your bare hands.
His warmth felt tied to physical affection. And while that's something I can understand in a personal setting, in a work setting, it was really hard. Have you ever used the word sexy?
It's a terrible burden. It's a terrible fucking burden.
It's just like...
Especially because you're talking about the actor-director dynamic and then the actor-co-star dynamic. So you've got like these double dynamics that she has to deal with that unless she acquiesces to this physical interaction that she doesn't want to have, and we're entitled not to want that. I talk about when I made my Christian movie, Small Group, and how all these people grab my hand and shit and pray with me.
To join in prayer.
And I just didn't want any of that.
You're like,
and I had to tolerate it in order to be in the environment.
Yeah, God.
But I didn't want to be in the environment. I didn't want their fucking hands touching me, and I didn't want to be a part of their fucking prayers.
It's also like, okay, so everybody who knows anything about acting and ever listens to anybody who's acting in any kind of role, especially something where she's supposed to be romantic and also fearful in any one of these scenes, right? So she has these like really big dynamics to balance in terms of her emotional expression of her character. So here this guy he's just being like this fucking energy vampire walking around and like basically punishing people for not giving him affection. She has to manage that. And she's also supposed to like somehow protect her reserve of emotional capability in order to perform her job as an actor at the same time. Like, it's just, again, it's like, what is he trying to do? Why is he sapping the fucking creative energy from the people around him in order to feed his own fucking ego? I don't understand it.
Because he's not
tolerate not being hugged.
You're asking that incredulously because you have this idea that he has awareness of the people outside of himself, and he doesn't.
I just think that
he doesn't appear to.
It's not beyond the realm of possibility that a director at a fucking base level should recognize that he has to maintain everybody's creative energy around him because that's what he's exploiting, right? He's got all of this fucking creative people to work collaboratively with him. And it's important that he not, I don't know, man. Every time I've ever heard of directors who like have a fucking freak out and make everybody react to them, I'm like, you're depleting this precious resource of their creative energy, you know? I just don't understand it, man. What are you typing?
I'm asking people to like and subscribe. Just keep doing your thing.
Okay. Next question. Have you ever used the word sexy or hot with Justin referring to yourself? She says, not to my recollection, to me personally. Have you ever used the word sexy or hot with Justin to refer to something you were wearing or that you proposed to wear in the film? She said, in the context of the film, in the creative context, yeah, I would use the word sexy. And what
These
about,
sexy boots.
and what about hot? Did you use that term in connection with filming? She said, I don't recall. Can you explain who walked into your trailer uninvited while you were undressed or breastfeeding? She said, Jamie Heath. Anyone else?
I'm laughing because Potato said Dale typing on a 19th century typewriter.
I know he is. He goes tick, 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 tick.
That's a Bluetooth keyboard, my friend.
I love it, dude. It's so great.
It's a mechanical keyboard.
It's very satisfying. The audio, experience of Dale's keyboard typing is satisfying to me. It brings me all the way back to like elementary school when we would have to practice on those big like DOS computers.
ASMR, like
when you go to like computer lab and like you're all tapping on these sort of keyboards, you're playing like what is it? Oregon. What was that? What was that video?
Oregon Trail?
Oregon Trail, yeah. Yeah. Oregon Trail sounded like that.
Yeah, it did. That's very funny.
The little fucking green screen.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, can you explain who walked into your trailer uninvited while you were undressed or breastfeeding? She said, Jamie Heath. Anyone else? She said, I have a memory of my hairdresser locking the door to hair and makeup because Jamie and Justin would often pop by. So I know that was a consideration.
Like panting dogs.
Ugh, and I know that was a consideration and an alteration we had to make in the way that we worked. I had never locked the trailer door consistently on a film before. Can you recall a specific time that either Jamie or Justin walked into your trailer uninvited while you were undressed or breastfeeding? She said yes. I recall Jamie Heath walking in or trying to walk in and me telling him not to come in and him insisting on coming in anyway, or the meeting would be canceled. When was that? She said day 2 of production. Did you tell Jamie Heath that made you feel uncomfortable? She said, I did. What did you say to him? She said, I recounted what had happened and I told him that wasn't okay. And he said, yeah. He said, yeah, I told him, that I had told him to turn around and it's not okay to insist on that anyway. And that he could never do that again. And then I told him to turn around and that was looking and that he was looking right at me. And he expressed that he liked to make eye contact with people. He had a habit of making eye contact with people when speaking with them. So that's why that happened. I don't fucking buy that for a second.
That's good. That's the most nonsensical thing I've ever heard.
I can't believe that.
There's
that came
no
out of his
way
mouth.
that if you listen to me, man. This is the whole point. That
I just
this is
not,
why
I don't buy it for
this
a
is
fucking
why
second.
Blake Lively rose to the occasion and took over the production as the producer. Because Jamie Heath was the producer. He was incompetent, guys. Jamie Heath was incompetent.
I think that's the thing that you come up with when you got caught looking at a nude woman when you were told not to. And then he said, oh, I'm sorry, I just have a habit of making eye contact. This situation is that you're in a room with a nude woman who doesn't want you there. There is absolutely no fucking context that is like any other time you've ever made eye contact in a conversation before. I don't understand this excuse of his. So the attorney is asking, he was saying I'm sorry, Brian Friedman is phrasing things weird. He was saying that why he went in there was because he wanted to have eye contact with you when speaking to people. She said no. He was saying that's why he looked after I told him not to.
God, Brian, you sound stupid with your questions.
He does sound fucking stupid. This is the second day of production, correct? She said yes. The second day. Oh my God. And it was in the evening.
I can express to you how important that is contextually for her discomfort level. We're not talking about day 20 when they've got kumbaya and they're like moving toward they're moving toward the rap party, and they've got a certain bonding that happens when you do these big major projects or when you're in these deep creative spaces with people. Like, none of that had occurred.
This is interesting too, because he's never present in any of these pre-production meetings. It's her and Justin.
So none of that was there.
So
there was
he
no
doesn't even fucking know
rapport.
her.
There was no deep rapport. There was no deep working relationship. There was no resonance between the two. There was no reason for that man to expect at any level her comfort when, you know, if he's interrupting her in a compromised position. Like, I could see that maybe, what do you mean? We've been bumping into each other like this for the last 6 weeks or whatever, and there's a certain camaraderie, and even then it would be inappropriate, but at least there would be that, and believe me when I tell you that the kind of history that you build with somebody on a set. Have you ever watched the series Survivor? I love that TV show, and the reason I love it is because I like seeing how people can build such deep, intimate, lifelong, like, quality just bonds with within 30 days.
Yeah.
Within 30 days. And working on a film, you get that kind of depth of relationship or experience. It's a deeply moving thing. And so when you connect with somebody on a set, it's not uncommon that connection is extremely deep and rapid in terms of its comfort and comfortability, and its and it's the feeling of importance,
Mm-hmm.
So day 2 that's not there. There's no trust yet. All of that is established when you start seeing people and the way they move and work and how it's like if you listen to a great band, you can hear how like some of the musicians in the band, maybe it's the guitarist, maybe it's the vocalist, and they're just adding these little nuanced moments to the song, and you're like, man, that was just perfect. And it's like a note or two.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar like that in terms of the ebb and flow of working with people on a set. And when you see people and how they're reacting, that's how the relationships and bonds start to form. That didn't exist in day 2. And this guy's barging in and imposing his ideals, by the way, which is like, or his principles. I look a person in the eye. Well, go fuck off. I'm naked.
It's just bizarre.
Yeah.
What the time of day was, it was evening when this trailer incident happened. Was the trailer unlocked? She said, I don't know if it was unlocked at that point. He attempted to come in and we stopped him from coming in. Who was we? My hair and makeup artist. Did you have your security there at the time? She said, no, I don't know where they were standing at that moment. The name of your security person is Kevin. She goes, we have different people who rotate. The security is not necessarily stationed right outside the hair and makeup door. They patrol. Do you know, as you sit here today, do you recall that specific second day of production, whether or not there was a security person outside your door? She said, I don't know. I was inside the trailer, so I wouldn't have seen who was standing there. He's asking, do you call for security? It's like, we're talking about the producer of the film.
Security!
And how long was Jamie in your trailer for? She said, I don't know exactly, but I would say around 5 minutes.
Wow.
Like, you're not invited. Nobody wants you there. What are you standing there
That's
with
a long time.
She's naked from the waist up, and you're standing there for fucking 5 minutes?
My very first comedy show was 5 minutes long.
It's an agonizing long time when you're not where you want to be.
It felt like an eternity,
not
absolutely.
Not where you're wanted.
Yeah.
And what was the discussion during the 5 minutes that he was in your trailer? Blake Lively says, we were meant to have a production meeting that night. And he came to my trailer we were going to have a production meeting in my trailer. And he came to the hair and makeup trailer, different trailers, as I was getting my body makeup removed and my wig taken off so that I could wrap out hair and makeup. And I could then go to my own trailer and have a meeting with them. He unexpectedly came to my trailer, knocked on the door, and said, we've got to talk. I said, we can't talk right now. I'll be there in a few minutes. I'm getting done as fast as I can so we can have this meeting. He said, oh no, we've got to talk now. I said, I'll meet you.
Doesn't it sound like somebody who's like trying to impose?
Yes.
Like they're like to show who's boss?
Absolutely.
No, you're not boss around here,
You're not
lady.
Gonna tell me, I'll tell you.
Listen here, Blake Lively.
I know you're undressed, and the people that I've employed to help you with hair and makeup are in the middle of doing their job. But I'm just going to make sure everybody has to hold for me, the producer.
Unbelievable.
I said, Blake Lively says, I'll meet you in there in a minute. I'm undressed. I'm getting ready for the meeting. I'll be there in just a minute. He said, if we don't meet now, we can't do that meeting. And that meeting was very important to me because it was to discuss other behavior I had experienced earlier that day that was concerning me. So like fucking brilliant genius fucking Jamie Heath creating another HR complaint on top of the one she already had.
It's so wild to me that you don't see these as little fires. And it's just like, again, all he had to do, Justin Baldoni, was take that call from that director dude who was like, this is how you deal with Blake Lively.
I would have been taking notes, bro. I would have been like, hey, is it cool if I record this? I want to remember everything you say.
For sure.
I guess he did record it, though. Blake Lively says, and that meeting was very important to me because it was to discuss other behavior I had experienced earlier that day that was concerning to me. So I said, okay, fine, you can come in. And he came in and I said, okay, you can come in, but please don't look. Can you turn around? So he turned around and he faced the wall. And I was in front of the hair and makeup mirror as my team was working. They call it double teaming when they're both working at the same time to either get you ready or disassemble you. And I was helping as well so that we could work quickly. And Jamie said that the meeting had to happen on my time, the meeting we were about to have, because of my turnaround, which is the time from the time that I'm done with work until the time I start again, my turnaround was 12 hours. And he said, this meeting has to be on your clock. We don't have time for this. And I said, this isn't a personal meeting. This is a production meeting to discuss how to make the set better and smoother. And he was arguing for it to be on my personal time. And I said, my personal time is important to me because I have a newborn baby. When I go home, I prepare for the next day. I feed my baby. I work out. I have a lot of responsibilities. I really need my time. And this is not a personal meeting. It is a production meeting. And as I'm having this negotiation with him, I turn to him and he's staring straight at me. He is no longer facing the wall. He's staring straight at me. And I said, Jamie, what are you doing? You said you would turn around. And Blake Lively says, oh, sorry. I like to make eye contact with people when I talk to them. And I said, you need to leave. And so he left the trailer and I finished getting ready and I was incredibly shaken. My memory is my hair and makeup. The women who do my hair and makeup were shaken as well. And then I finished doing my work and I went in and I took the meeting. Question, when you said he was looking at you, was he looking in your eyes or somewhere else? And Blake Lively says, well, when I turned, he was fully facing me and I was topless. So I don't know all of the contours of my body that his eyes were on. Okay, and when you were topless, did you have body makeup on? She said, yes. And as you sit here today, you don't remember where on your body or your eyes that he was looking at the time. Is that correct? Fucking Friedman. She said, I remember...
Right, because Jamie, he's going to take the stand and say, I never actually looked at her breasts. I only ever did look at her eyes.
I have a talent for vision where it's only
tunnel vision. I'm tunnel vision. Just ask everyone. I'm laser sharp focused.
Only looking at her eyes.
I could only see her face. Everything else. You know what a vignette is? Do you know what a vignette is? It's like a vignette.
I'm a filmmaker, so I use words like that.
I use words like vignette, and it's like a vignette, a really dark vignette.
She says, Blake Lively says, I remember turning around and he was facing me. I was topless when I said, the only way you can come in is if you turn around and face that wall. And he was facing the exact opposite direction, facing me.
So fucked up. He shouldn't be there. He shouldn't even be there.
No, Friedman says, I'm just trying to find out like where his eyes were at the time that you turned around.
In his head, you fucking dumb shit.
Were his eyes at your eyes looking at you? Friedman with his fucking lawyer question.
He wants to try to create a situation where she, somehow corroborates his story that he didn't look at her breasts.
Exactly. She's like, where his eyes were, I remember feeling like he was looking at my body. So that's my memory.
There you go. Perfect. Great answer.
Okay, and when you say you remember feeling like he was looking at your body, you don't have a recollection that he actually was looking at your body, but it felt like that. Is that correct?
Lawyers, man. Honestly, like if I'm sitting there in the room, I want to reach across the table. I want to grab them by their fucking little neck, and I want to strangle them. And I know that's wrong. I know it's wrong, but I want to do it.
Yeah.
What are you fucking talking about? Oh, he held fast his eyes. He has no peripheral ability to see the boob that's right in front of him. Yeah. You fucking weirdo.
She goes, yeah, I mean, the guy was, the only way he could come in the trailer, which I wasn't comfortable with in the first place, is if he was facing the wall. Then I turn around and he's facing me topless. I mean, obviously the grammar is that she's topless.
And he's got moobs that are just despicable.
No, she's topless.
Hairy nippled moobs.
Okay, one of the other things in your complaint talks about drafting a graphic orgasm scene. So he's moved on to the next topic, which sounds worse.
He's like, and on to the new scene where you're getting cunnilingus. Let's get into that.
Oh my God. Me defending my client who can't possibly ever make anyone uncomfortable. Okay. One of the other things in your complaint talks about drafting a graphic orgasm scene. Do you recall that? Do you recall there was some sort of orgasm scene, a graphic orgasm scene that was drafted that bothered you or that you felt you were harassed by? And Blake Lively says, it wasn't that there was that scene in the movie. It was the experience surrounding it that felt upsetting. Question, what experience was there around that scene? All right. You want to hear this one?
Yep.
I feel so bad for this lady. Oh my God. Blake Lively says, when I expressed my discomfort with the fact that the scenes had become more gratuitous and they felt in some cases somewhat pornographic to me, Justin Baldoni, instead of speaking as a filmmaker about the characters, attempted to, what I felt, convince me to do the scenes by giving me personal reasons as to why those scenes existed. And what did
Do you understand the fucked upness there? Do you understand? You get the difference? Because his job is to be talking about why Lily and why Ryle should be in this situation and what that means, why that's integral in any way to the story and to the sequence, the visuals, all of that. And instead, he wants to get into it. Remember when they were doing the slow dance? And what was he talking about? He was talking about Ryan fucking Reynolds.
He's the first person who brought up their spouses.
Yeah, he brought up their spouses. It's inappropriate to do that. Yeah. And by the way, they're playing characters. She's not playing Blake fucking Lively.
No. She's like, what you do is irrelevant because you're playing a character named Ryle.
Yeah, she's going in.
Who exists in a book that you optioned. You know? Okay, what did he say to why those scenes existed? Blake Lively says, the characters climaxing at the same time. He told me that he and his wife orgasm at the same time and asked me if my husband and I do the same.
I mean, come on. Just get the fuck out of here with that.
I feel like when that is spoken in a courtroom and the jury hears that, it's like, I would gasp. I can't believe this misconduct. Okay. When Blake Lively continues.
If that's not offensive to you, fine. That's cool.
She's
so
like,
if somebody says that to you,
much about you
and you're good with that, that's cool. But if somebody asked me if me and my partner have orgasms at the same time, I would not answer it.
And asked me if my husband and I do the same. I'd be like, I'm sorry. Is this a work meeting? What the fuck?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't even fuck if my friends ask me that. I'd be, what the fuck are you doing?
Okay, so she continues. When I said that the scenes felt pornographic, he shared with me that he, as he put it, had been previously addicted to pornography. And so he understood it very well. And that the scenes were not in fact pornographic, but instead they were told through the female gaze, because this is what women wanted to see. This is what women wanted to see, that women often see, that women want to see themselves being pleasured on camera. There was a scene that he was proposing in which he brings his character, Ryle, brings the character Lily to orgasm on camera. And I felt like I would be mortified to shoot something like that at this stage in my life and career, and being the mother of 4 kids. And given that that was not in the understanding of the script that I came into the film with.
Like, what? That is so fucking reasonable. She's like, I'm a mother. I'm not going to come on camera for you, dude.
I didn't sign on to a script where I was supposed to come
I wouldn't have. I would have asked for that cut. I would have asked for that edit.
Yeah, he told me that those were some of his most precious memories.
Wow.
And I don't remember the exact words he used, but between him and his wife, when he would bring her to orgasm, and she would ask to then, I guess, do what needed to happen for him, and he would say, no, that's enough. This is insane. I know.
Like, I mean, come on.
So
anybody who doesn't think that sexual harassment doesn't understand anything about harassment.
She's like, why are you telling me about the kind of sex you and your wife have?
First of all, that's a tactic by dudes who want to try to cheat. That's like a cheater's tactic.
Really?
Yeah, to sit there and try to get people to talk about their sexual relationships with their spouses.
Listen, I pleasure my wife so crazy.
Yes.
If you don't have that experience at home, I'm just telling you that that's something that I do.
Yeah, you find you things like that. Like it can be even more innocent. It can be more like he doesn't give you a massage. What? Oh God, do you want? Because it leads to that, It's just like this. It's a tactic that that dudes use in order to seduce married women.
Meanwhile, Colleen Hoover.
Don't ask me how I know.
Colleen Hoover and.
No, I'm kidding.
Meanwhile, Colleen Hoover and Christy Hall don't have any input in this whatsoever, but somehow it's supposed to be the female gaze that he's talking about.
What the fuck are you doing, bro?
Okay, question. So was this in connection with the creation of a scene? And Blake Lively is asking for clarification. The question, this discussion about how the sex scene would go, was he discussing this with you, why he felt like the sex scene should go one way versus another? Fucking Brian Friedman. Guy's a fucking doofus. Blake Lively says he was using personal experiences and descriptives in a conversation that my intention was to discuss the gratuitous sex that I felt it was added, but I felt it was gratuitous that had been added to the script. And my intention was to have a creative discussion about the sex scenes, and they made a surprising and really disturbing departure into personal conversations. Where did the meeting take place? She says, at my office.
Hanada said, that's definitely a cheater's tactic, what I just explained.
Really?
She said, I'm in Brazil. This is the country of cheaters. We all heard those stories.
About how good you are in bed with somebody else?
Sure, it's a total tactic. It's like,
That's what they do.
and also like, when you think about like putting people into a state. So if you try to get them to start remembering sexual relations with their partner and then bringing that all the way to orgasm, you're stimulating them even on a minor level, and that of course moves you kind of closer and closer and closer to potentially having a sexual interaction.
She's like, man, I signed on to like a romance movie with
It's
some like
fucked
dark
up.
elements. I wasn't gonna do all this.
No.
Okay, she said this was in April of 2023, so this is right before they began shooting. Was there any other occasion that Jamie walked into your trailer so he's back on this topic. Was there any other occasion that Jamie walked into your trailer uninvited while you were undressed or breastfeeding? Do you have an explanation for why lawyers do this in depositions? They bounce around like really like hard turns into different topics.
Yeah, well, sometimes first of all, if they don't like the way a line's going, they're going to change. But they try to catch you off guard. What our attorneys told us was, pay attention, because they'll try to switch the question on you in a way to try to get you to not,
like if they
to catch you off guard.
They warm you up with a bunch of yeses so that they can get an affirmative answer, and they turn on to a different topic so you continue to say yes.
Yeah. Or they'll do these stupid slam questions like like Brian Friedman when he was like, did you ever tell Jamie Heath that Blake Lively was a fucking terrorist?
Oh yeah.
Like just pull that out as a non sequitur to.
Okay. Was there any other occasion that Jamie walked into your trailer uninvited while you were undressed or breastfeeding? Blake Lively said, I remember them often, both them being Justin and Jamie, coming into my trailer to speak. And when I was in my trailer, I was more often than not, if I wasn't expecting visitors, I was more often than not topless. I started locking my door. You testified that the second day of production when Jamie went in, what were the other days that either Justin or Jamie came in uninvited? She said, I don't remember specifically. I remember they often wanted to meet while I was in my trailer. And while they often wanted to meet while you were in your trailer, did they actually go into your trailer without your permission while you were undressed or breastfeeding? She said, I don't remember how many times that happened. I do remember that I began to adjust the work to anticipate that. So I had a robe at the ready, and there were ways in which I could still meet with them if needed in my trailer in a way where I was able to be covered. Did you ever invite Jamie or Justin into your trailer while you were breastfeeding? And this is interesting because they've been talking about this a lot.
Of course, because she invited them once.
Okay, did you ever?
She gave them a laminated pass. Yeah. She was like, yeah, you can come in, and from now on, by the way, here's your laminated breastfeeding observation pass. You just put this on, and you come and watch me breastfeed any time of the day.
You asked once, and so you get blanket consent for every other time.
Hang your breastfeeding observation pass around your neck so we can identify you.
Did you ever invite Jamie or Justin into your trailer while you were breastfeeding? Blake Lively says, I don't recall if I invited them in, but I would breastfeed while working as long as I felt comfortable and covered in a way where I felt like I could offer I'm sorry, and covered in a way where I felt like I could offer that consent.
I saw a funny ass post on Reddit today where it was like somebody, a woman was breastfeeding outside a restaurant, like a cafe or something.
Yeah.
And somebody said, can you cover up, please? And so the husband took a picture of her because it was hilarious because she took and covered up her face while the baby was just honking on that boob. It was hilarious.
Did you ever actually put anything in writing where you invited Justin or Jamie into your trailer while you were breastfeeding to go over lines? Blake Lively says, while I was breastfeeding? No, not that I recall. Question, what about while you were pumping? Blake Lively says, I think you're referencing a specific text. And I don't know if I was pumping at the time that he entered the trailer. My recollection is sharing what I was doing. It wasn't an immediate invitation. Question. It wasn't an immediate invitation, meaning he should come in later. Is that what you meant? She said, no, I'm saying it wasn't explicit, but I would breastfeed and pump while working as long as I felt that I was covered and able to offer consent to do it in a way where I was comfortable. And as you sit here today...
Which is sensible, fool.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to think about it long.
Did other people from the cast and crew go into your trailer while you were breastfeeding? Blake Lively says, nobody...
It was a fucking disco, actually. Yeah, it was...
Free drinks for everybody.
Yeah,
and
dude.
the baby.
$2 drinks and fucking disco ball hanging from the top. And
nobody insisted on entering when I asked them not to, other than the circumstances I've told you. Did you ever tell Jamie or Justin that you had never seen pornography before? She said yes, in an attempt to change the subject. When Justin mentioned his pornography addiction, I said that as a deflection because I could not relate. I didn't understand enough about it. Would it surprise you to learn that Justin did not ever have a pornography addiction? Oh my God, we made it, guys. This is like the best line of questioning. Brian Friedman is such a fucking dummy that he thinks that this is a gotcha. So he is saying, oh my God, I love this so much. He asks her, but would it surprise you to learn that Justin did not ever have a pornography addiction? Like it's a gotcha for Blake Lively and not that it makes his client a fucking liar. She said, it would surprise me to learn that because he told me that he did. Brian Friedman said, when he told you that he did he say, stop, I want to hear this or anything like that? I'm sorry. When he told you that he did you say, stop, I don't want to hear this or anything like that? Blake Lively says, by saying, I've never seen it and shutting down the conversation, that's how I told him to stop. Question. So the actual words that you used was saying, I've never seen it. Is that right? Blake Lively said, well, his attempt was to explain pornography and what that was and how what it felt to be pornographic wasn't in fact pornographic.
This fucking guy just doesn't shut up about porn.
I misread this. Well, his attempt was to explain pornography and what that was and how what I felt to be pornographic wasn't in fact pornographic. And that he was expressing his expertise on it given his previous addiction. And in an effort to no longer be talking about pornography, because I was never trying to talk about pornography, I said the scenes felt pornographic, and I was not opening a door to discuss pornography or anyone's past with it. I attempted to shut it down and change the subject. And did you ever tell Justin, don't talk about pornography to me anymore? And Blake Lively said, that's what I felt like I expressed. And you expressed that by using the words, I've never seen it? And Blake Lively said, I've never seen pornography. I don't know anything about it.
It's just
this is how she manages him though, because if you even decline a hug from him, he gets all fucking fumey, Well,
and
he
also
gets all fucking prickly.
And also, she can fucking I think most human beings know what that is. Do you know what I mean?
No, what is?
How to like push something through your narrative, like how she, it's very clear when she's like, I don't know anything about it, that she doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like I do this all the time when people try to talk to me.
I'm sure her tone was
like,
thick with it.
Yeah.
you know?
Like anytime somebody wants to get talking about like their sexual lives or my sex life or just like anything that I don't feel comfortable with or appropriate with, I don't outright go, excuse me, that topic is inappropriate and I don't want to talk about it because I have relationships with these people.
Yeah, because that's combative to do that.
So instead I go, haha, or I don't know anything about it, or I'll just pass off, passively step aside from it.
Everybody's favorite is like, hey, that's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
That's so crazy.
Okay. Are you claiming that as part of your lawsuit that it was sexual harassment that either Justin or Jamie disclosed to the cast and crew that you never looked at pornography? Yeah, because apparently she told him that and then they went and barked it to everybody else. Hey guys, do you ever hear that Blake Lively never saw porn?
Did they?
Yeah, that's one of her allegations where she was like, I told him that I don't know anything about porn because I've never seen it. And then he went and made it a bigger deal by telling a bunch of other people.
Hey, hang on 1 second.
What?
Just to give people an example of it.
Of what?
Do you want to?
Pornography?
Yeah, no. I'm going to switch you so that you can hear all of the feed, okay? And you can put this on. I'm going to play this. This is only a minute. Yeah, it's a minute. You can put it on your monitor if you want to see it.
What is it?
It's this Baldoni shit. Let me show you. I gotta grab my headphones, and I don't know where they are. So give me 1 second. I know they're here because I test the sound all the time. There they are. All right. This is. I'm gonna have. Okay.
It's not the right time for this, but
it is. It'll work. It'll work. Listen to this. You guys got to listen to this because this is like so crazy. All right. Let me just cut to this. This guy can't stop talking. All right, let me do this real quick.
But the reason why I like this clip so much is because it shows you how he is talking about these sorts of things. Like that he is this careless when he's saying these really charged topics to this woman and completely oblivious to how this information is being received by a woman he's talking to. This is Justin Baldoni in an interview.
And this is where the porn conversation comes in, of course, but then when you hit 11 or 12 and your phone and maybe you don't, and you're being shown things on the phone for the first time, and that's cool, and then you start to think that that is what women want, and porn, as we know, no means yes or try harder, right? Quoting our good friend Ted Bunch at A Call to Men. Right. It starts to become very confusing, which is definitely something that happened to me. I'm sure I have crossed boundaries and lines in my teens and 20s, not even thinking about it, simply because of the porn I was consuming. You are what you consume. It's that simple. And so many men, so many of us men, I would argue that in the high 90s are consuming it on a daily or weekly basis. And that is absolutely influencing the way that they see the world, the way that they see their relationship, and the way that they view women as objects and not people.
That's sexy. He's the one calling them sexy. He's the one calling them sexy. Not you, not me, him.
So what do you think about that?
Well, I just think, I mean, aside from the fact that he's once again confessing that he is somebody who has crossed boundaries, and he's already said before that he says no or whatever, or he's sorry that hasn't taken no for an answer. I mean, that stuff's kind of damning in and of itself. But what I'm talking about when it comes to that is just like he's just so Mr. Overshare. He's just Mr. Overshare. Yeah. Like he could easily have said, most men are likely to have overstepped their boundaries, but in their teens and 20s, most men are likely to have not accepted no when no was the answer. Like he could have just put it in this way, but instead he's this guy who confesses this shit and makes it more uncomfortable. When you're sitting there, it's like I don't know, maybe he has in his head that like if he's like this, open person who shares everything with the world, that the world will admire him and learn something from him and align with him, and but the reality is it just makes you feel more uncomfortable with him and your presence with him. Because if you turn around and you lay down a statistic, most men overstep their boundaries when in pursuit of a romantic relationship. Most men overstep their boundaries. You say that and you go, oh, you consider that statistically. When you say, I've done that, you're like, you have, your whole mind is in a different place instantly, and it becomes about this guy and what he's done as opposed to perhaps the problem or the issue that he wants to make light of, or that he wants to shine light on.
I think that he's been given like social rewards from like talking about taboo subjects for so long that he no longer recognizes when it's not appropriate to talk about taboo subjects, Like in his TED Talk and his podcast and all of these other things, he's like, yeah, well, you know, what we do is we're truth sayers and we bring darkness to light, and I talk about taboo things, and we're having tough conversations and all of this. And he doesn't recognize that there is a time and place where you don't do that, because he's just kind of like, he's kind of just like, hacked his brain into just being in this one mode all the time now.
How far along are we?
We're pretty far along, but not. I mean, the file is 93 pages and we're at 69. 69.
Inappropriate. So we should probably pick this up again on Monday.
Oh, okay. That was fast.
Well, we can do some. I thought we'd do some hanging out with the folks.
Yeah, that's great.
Austin's here. Junk Farm's here. Cosmic is here. Our Scientist is here. Manderley is here. Lemon Kate is here. Deanne is here. I think No Two Trolls is here. She's not. I already miss her. Dime Beth is here. So we got the folks. The folks. All the folks are here. By the way, if you haven't liked or subscribed, please like and subscribe. If you want to read a really cool book, read this one. It's called Too Real a Hollywood Memoir, and I fucking wrote it.
If you like celebrity scandals.
If you like celebrity scandals and you think you know anything about Leonardo DiCaprio, read this thing.
You don't.
You don't.
Or Tobey Maguire. Oh, my God.
Or Tobey Maguire for sure.
A Scientist said, Justin Mansplain Baldoni says this after Colleen Hoover told him that women feel awkward watching sex scenes in a movie theater.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. That is a great point. It's mind-blowing. It's so mind-blowing how absolutely in their own world and inflexible they were. One of the gurus that I used to follow as a kid said, flexibility is power. Mm-hmm. And I understood that, man. Like I comprehended it deeply.
It's such fucking great advice. Dude.
It's great advice. Flexibility is power.
In every context, that's great advice.
It's just super good power, like super good advice. Justin Baldoni showed no flexibility. He'll say he did, but it's not when you're using the term flexibility is power. It's not power to be flexible in the way that they were. For example, Blake Lively, I'm just going to give her 90% of what she wants, and in this like big huff where there's a bad energy around it, a problem around it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right. So flexibility is power is like going, I didn't plan on having a collaboration with Blake Lively, but now that I do, I'm going to turn it into something even greater.
I'm not over this testimony about how he said that the reason why he added these gratuitous sex scenes was because he had these personal experiences with his wife and they were awesome.
It's
because
just
what he's saying,
and he wants to perform that onto Blake Lively.
Yes, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
what he's saying to Blake Lively is, I would like to recreate these intimate experiences that I cherish from my own marriage, and I want you to star in them with me. On film.
No, and you should be talking about Ryle and fucking Lily, not fucking Blake and Justin.
Like, I wonder how his fucking wife feels about that. Jesus, like, he doesn't, what's the matter with him?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I feel like it sounds more like he was trying to pick her up. You know?
I can't believe
it. I truly believe that if Blake Lively was like, Justin, I just think about you every night, and I know it's wrong, but I think about you every night. I think Justin's in. Like, I don't even think he hesitates. Yeah, I think he's like cannonball into that situation.
Cannonball?
Yeah.
Manderley 33 is with us.
Yes.
Said, it's funny. Sometimes I see the Stannies claim what happened was a lot of nothing, not enough for SH. And I wonder if they're right. But hearing Lively lay it all out, it's so obvious that's BS.
Yeah. And again, it wouldn't even matter because because we have these so there's that first instance where she talks about him making the comment about the dress that he noticed when the opening, revealed her chest, and then he made the gesture and all this. That isn't, a significant event. You know what I mean? So to take that event to HR would quickly shut it down. for sure.
Right, but there's a bunch of them.
The problem is that it's the beginning of, or it was a part of a much larger problem.
Yeah. Deanne says that you said D the OG is Deanne.
D the OG is Deanne. That's
a
right.
Great username. So I was asking why these attorneys in deposition will pivot so hard.
Yeah.
They'll be like on a line of questioning, and then all of a sudden they'll just like switch to a different topic, and it's jarring. And I think it's jarring for everybody, and I'm sure it's deliberate, but I didn't understand why.
Mm-hmm.
Deanne said that it's just to deal with the topic briefly because they're intending to deal with the topic more thoroughly at trial. I think they're just trying to discover what
So to introduce it, well, we'll be getting it on the
witness is
record.
going to say about it.
Right.
Deanne said it's not a full hearing. They do not want to show their full hand. That makes a lot of sense. Hinata said that it's a typical interrogation tactic. Also, the change is when it's not working in your favor, which is what you suggested, right? I think it's interesting. We learn a lot about this stuff.
I mean, obviously, there's going to be, because I would imagine also that if the witness is doing you in, you want to get out of that situation, and then also if it's a situation where you want to. You want to catch the witness more off guard.
Yeah.
Like
Deanne said also, agreeing with Hinata, said that it creates cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it's just like also it'll exhaust your witness in a very advantageous way if you're antagonistic like Brian Friedman is with Blake Lively.
Cosmic says that Baldoni's next move is to reveal that he's on the spectrum.
Oh, he already did.
He did?
No, there's this whole text thread where he's talking to his publicist, and he was like, "Listen, if you guys get me on the Dean Amen show, Dean Amen is Dr. Amen. He's like, get me a brain scan, have the doctor talk about my neurodivergence because I struggle with impulsive speech, see? And so the diagnosis will excuse all of my bad behavior and everybody's going to feel sorry for me."
Tourette's. I have Tourette's.
Yeah. Justin Baldoni literally was like, this is a tactic. This is something we should pursue. He's trying to... First, I thought that he was like going to try and method act. He was like, well, Ryle's an abuser. And so I was being an abuser because I was playing the character. And then he's talking about how he has a neurodivergence, impulsive speech. It's not his fault.
While referring to her as Blake.
Everyone's being so insensitive and not accommodating his neurodivergence. Archival Raccoon is with us, said...
What's up, Archival?
After she's been SH'd, Colleen Hoover preferred the Sony cut. Baldoni's cut didn't meet the contract requirements.
Sorry, I just saw somebody say something that just cracked me up so much.
What?
Please do your research, says Helen the House. Please do your research. Justin actually has more experience than Blake. Oh my God.
Doing what?
Oh my God.
Being a creep? Because yeah.
Oh my God. You just this is Justin's first major role in a feature film. It Ends With Us was Justin Baldoni's first major role in a feature film in his life. You don't have your feet on the ground.
Also, didn't he say that the movie that he directed for CBS was not produced by Wayfarer?
It was not produced. Wayfarer was not the production company. No.
Right.
And Jamie Heath. It was Jamie Heath's first fucking set.
Yeah.
As a producer.
He'd never been on a film before.
But listen, that's not true. I guess it depends on what you're talking about. But Blake Lively has more experience in TV and more experience in television and more experience.
Justin Baldoni does.
In feature films.
Justin Baldoni does have more experience giving TED Talks. This is true.
Yeah, he does.
Justin Baldoni has more experience.
Maybe.
Producing a podcast. That's true.
Yes.
So there are some things. We need more context for this comment to know whether they're right or wrong. Okay, you got to be fair.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I am being fair, and what they're referring to is, his experience on the set, and that's just absurd. And experience in what? He's not a more experienced actor. He's not, is he a more experienced director? Yes. I mean, I guess you could say he's a more experienced director.
I'm going to reread what Archival Raccoon said because you were distracted.
Sorry about that, yeah.
After she's been SH'd, Colleen Hoover preferred the Sony cut. Baldoni's cut didn't meet the contract requirements.
Well, that's true. Look, I mean, Ange Giannetti, and this is why that all that stuff by the fucking what's his name, the other guy, the jerk off who.
There's a few jerk offs.
No, the one
You'll
from
have to be more
Sony,
specific.
the higher up from Sony.
Oh,
Starts with a P, is it, or something?
yeah, Prenich.
Prenich something. I feel like this guy might have been a little bit out of touch because Ange Giannetti, she speaks to that. She speaks to that quite thoroughly, and I kind of lost my place. What was the comment?
The Baldoni's cut didn't meet contract requirements.
Yeah, so she said that from the very beginning, before they moved forward, they negotiated a bake-off clause. And the reason they negotiated...
Before the production began, right?
Of course. And the reason that they negotiated the bake-off clause is because, and I've said this time and again on this live, I said this all the way back to our TikTok days on this subject, studios get the final cut. Studios get the final cut. They decide who gets the final cut. Let's put it that way. And because Wayfair was obviously dropping $26 million on the movie, and co-financing the project, they leveraged that to get him a director's cut deal. So the way that they contractually were able to wrestle that away from him is they put a clause in at the beginning for a bake-off, and the bake-off was triggered if Justin Baldoni's cut didn't hit 3 specific metrics at specific levels.
Yeah, Deanne is saying his did not meet testing, and his contract did not give him final cut.
Correct, but he, his contract said he gets final cut if he hits the 3 metrics. He did not hit all 3 metrics. They knew he wouldn't.
He's getting mixed messages, though.
Because it was 90 points on all 3.
There is a text message that says, there is a text message from a Sony executive or producer or whoever. He's not named. I have to find out who he is now because now we have everybody's names. But there is a text message that says, to be clear, Wayfair has final cut and Sony is only to the distributor. But they changed, right?
But they didn't. This is what we learned in Ange Giannetti's.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that came from...
That's an accurate statement.
Huh?
That's an accurate statement.
Okay, how is it not contradictory for a Sony somebody to say in a text message, Wayfair has final cut? How's that not contradictory to what Ange Giannetti is saying, that they don't have final cut?
Yeah, so it's here's how it works. He had final cut up until the test.
Right.
So from the time that he
got
signed
to-
his deal
he got to cut
until
his
the
film.
time that movie was tested, he had a final cut deal. As soon as that test occurred and it didn't hit the metrics, it got kicked back, the cut, right? Got kicked back to Sony where they wanted it in the first place. They put that as a trap. It was a trap clause. He was never going to have final cut.
Nobody ever does, right?
And the only reason that Blake Lively got the cut is because she lobbied for it.
But directors never do, right? I mean, it's so weird that he was
Directors
expecting.
Rarely do.
He's like he's not even a proven director.
Let me tell you how
There's
rarely
no way
it
that
is.
they would be like, oh yeah, absolutely, we're going to bank all this several, dozens of millions of dollars on you and sight unseen, everything's just yours.
Yeah, let me tell you how rare it actually is. Oliver Stone, after Platoon, after his Oscars, after all the big fucking hoop-de-loo about who Oliver Stone was.
Yeah, he's the biggest shit ever.
Biggest shit ever, opens Natural Born Killers with the studio cut. He released a director's cut much later.
Yeah.
There was a director's cut. There was a director's cut of Blade Runner.
Blade Runner, I know.
Blade Runner.
I know. It's like so iconic.
Blade Runner is Ridley Scott.
I don't know why.
Put Ridley Scott and fucking Justin Baldoni in the same sentence. And you can't, right? Not as directors. And Ridley Scott didn't have final cut.
Why did Baldoni think that he could? That he did?
They tried to leverage their co-production status, and that's how they get it. And, they were trying to they put a pacifier in that mouth. Okay, you got final cut, big boy. You got it. You're such a good boy. Now go sit down and shut the fuck up. The studio's always going to win that fight anyway, because the studio, first of all, Sony put in more money. They put in $28 million.
We have a just a new person in the chat. I don't recognize this person, but I'm glad you're here. Pellet Mira, 3626. Okay. Is responding to Archival Raccoon. I don't care whose cut it is that I watched. I just want a good movie to watch, really. I am upset their behind the scenes disturbed my watching the movie. It ends with us film sucks. And this is what Justin Baldoni risked when he decided to pick a fight with his publicists a PR war with the star of his movie. Now his movie can never just be watched as a movie standalone on its own merits. It's always going to have this fucking story with it. Congratulations, Justin Baldoni. You nobody's ever just going to watch your film for the last
film you ever made. You fool.
Yeah. Manderley 33 said, wow, so this is the complete opposite of how Wayfarer characterized this. And I don't even know what this is in reference to, but my answer is yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you're talking about specifically, but if it had anything to do with the SH, then...
Oh, yeah, Manderley says, in quotes, Blake breastfed around us all the time. She was totes comfy. Yeah, totally different. I know, kind of amazing that anybody ever believed that, right?
Feeding on one, pumping the other.
Actually, they kept barging in on her while she was trying to have a moment to feed her kid. She was like, I had to keep a robe ready to cover myself because these people kept barging into my trailer.
They probably were like beside themselves that they had such star power on their set.
Also, when you imagine crossing the threshold into a celebrity's the small space, you know, that they have that's private, that's celebrity space.
Yeah.
It must feel like kind of a power move. And I think that's why those men kept doing it. Because they were like, wow, this is Blake Lively's trailer. She's the star of our movie, and I get access to her only private space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, nobody could convince me that wasn't like, maybe even subliminally, subconsciously part of the equation. Because there really is no reason why every single time you try to visit her, you can't just send her a quick text message. It's not like she doesn't have a phone next to her.
Yeah.
You know?
Or just wait outside after you knock and when she says she's not ready to come in.
Of course.
Just wait outside.
I
just
would
come back.
never
Be
even-
fucking respectful. You know, big boss man. I swear that was just all about him bumping chests. It was all about him going, puffing up.
It's got to be because
I'm the boss here.
you would never
You're not
find
the boss
me,
here.
You would never find me knocking on somebody's fucking door when they have a cell phone and I have their text and I have their phone number, so I can just text them. I wouldn't even be knocking on doors, much less fucking barging in. That's crazy.
Fucking people, bro.
A scientist said that Baldoni also focused on the abuser's rage during one of the abuse scenes instead of the victim's emotions in a movie that was about a victim overcoming the experience.
Yeah, and one where he was supposed to be shining a light on domestic violence, not through the female gaze. It's just such a train wreck in terms of every aspect. He should not have directed the movie, but you know that's the regrets. He'll have them for the rest of his life.
The Junk Farm is with us. Is talking about how ridiculous this line of questioning is. The Junk Farm says the person has to explicitly say, "Stop this specific thing."
At this specific time.
It can't be
for these specific reasons, and then probably cite law.
Yeah. You can't just like deflect or try and change the subject politely. You have to be like, I do not want to speak of this.
There's no just like fucking shut up
offended.
and move on.
The Junk Farm said, in my case, I never actually said this is harassment. Stop. Oh yeah, the Junk Farm's been through this before. SH claims in the workplace.
Yeah, he went through
Yeah, it's a crazy
I
story.
remember him telling the story. It was nuts.
Yeah.
It was he went through a lot for a long period of time.
Cosmic Urgency said that Baldoni's next move is to reveal on the spectrum diagnosis. That's what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We'll see. I don't think that he has a next move. I don't think he has a defense. Has he articulated a defense
Well,
at
that
all?
movie he's talking about is to try and start repairing, to begin to repair. Look, he's getting some mileage off of this Sony calling her a terrorist. These Sony execs calling her a terrorist. And it wasn't just them. Who knows where it originated? I think it probably originated on the Wayfarer side. Because if you recall, I think it was
Steve
Jamie
Sarowitz
He's-
is always using words like this, right?
Yeah.
He's got like a war mind.
Fucking people are crazy, dude.
I know. Our scientist is asking, did you see the information about the interview that Baldoni did that they had deleted it because it was so bad?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
I read this yesterday.
Well, yeah.
It's fucking
It's in yesterday's
appalling.
live, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the most crazy.
What's really awful is he's talking about a rape scene in which he's describing it as loving something out of her. And I was like, wow, this guy really did just there in his
Loving
mind,
her ex.
I know, but he conflated love and rape.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so much worse than anybody is making.
It just said so much about, like, for me, it just said so much, like, here's what happens, just to give you a kind of, here's what happens to me, at least, in the creative process, right? Like, everything is an opportunity. Like, you're constantly thinking about, like, how I'm going to make my movie. You know what I mean? Because everything is such a fucking cool opportunity. But and so everything that you encounter is somehow relevant to the way you're going to make your movie. And so, you think about everything, you overthink everything.
Yeah, of course.
Every fucking frame is just being overthought in every given moment. And so it's easy for him to get trapped in some like stupid, like whatever tangents.
But why is he even trying to talk about that on an interview with the Dallas
I don't
Morning
understand.
News?
This is my point. My point is like that process is here.
Just as a filmmaker, like that is a catalyst. Like that scene is a catalyst point. You're not going to give that away. You're not going to talk about that when you're doing a promo for your movie.
Like I can't speak for him, but like what
just as a
what I'm really kind of referring
story.
to is that like filmmakers get they have the craving to be Haneke, to be Gaspar Noé, or to be or to be Lars von Trier, where you're like where you're just taking audiences and be like, I can't fucking believe he did that,
I know, but what's he telling the Dallas fucking Morning News for?
You don't do that with It Ends With Us.
No, you don't.
It's not. Never mind Dallas News. He's trying to be this like big deep artist or whatever. There's this guy named Duchan Garcia. His name was Duchan Garcia, and he was like this documentary filmmaker, and he wanted to do this. We collaborated on a couple of things. He had the script, and he's like, I want you to read the script, and I was like, okay. And he was like, this script is my life, and I was like, okay. And he's like, it's autobiographical. I was like, okay, that's very interesting. He goes, my favorite part, and I was like, you shouldn't tell me. He's like, I'm going to tell you my favorite part. I was like, well, I'm going to read it. He goes, no, I'm going to tell you my favorite part is in the first act when it turns into the second act. I dig a hole right into the Mother Earth, and I lay on top of that hole, and I fuck the earth. And I'm just like,
and you're like, groovy, bro.
I literally didn't read the script. I was like, you do. I fuck the earth, and I go all the way. And I was like,
fantastic.
I'll read it when I have the first opportunity. I'm going to read this.
Original.
I never read it. It never got made.
Oh my God, you should.
He was actually this guy was actually someone notable.
He was an artiste, Dale.
He was an artiste. Duchan Garcia fucked the earth.
Hey man.
People, man. But like he was Duchan, though, at least he was somebody who was like in that world. Like he was this abstracty kind of documentary filmmaker kind of guy. Yeah. He was totally from somewhere Belgium or some shit. And he was a totally wild, like adventurous guy. And
really
he was not a conventional filmmaker making a studio picture.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like Lars von Trier can't do that shit if he's working for Sony, and Michael Haneke can't do that shit if he's working for Sony, and neither can now Sony Classics might pick it up. Do you know what I mean? Fox might pick it up after you made it
really
on your own dime, on your own risk.
You're saying that's how Baldoni thinks of himself?
He might be thinking of himself as like you said, because it was a grotesque concept that he had, that he could rape out this person's past lover, this character's past lover. It's totally demented.
Nobody's asking you for that.
But I could see how like as an artiste, as a guy who wants to be somebody who's going to be like getting all fucking mixed up and braided in this nonsense. But the reality is that he was making a studio picture, and this is what I've always meant when I said that they were in over their fucking heads. Because you have to know, like when Randy Quaid offered us that movie for $30 million, I immediately put into perspective what that meant in terms of the way I would have to approach the material. And I knew that I would have strings attached all over in terms of my movement, my ability to improv or move or to be artsy or to do whatever I wanted to do with the movie, because there's going to be this $30 million weight on it. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
If you take a Baldoni situation and he sets a movie up at Sony, he's now got a $28 million weight on that movie called Sony Studios. 104-year-old movie studio, one of the oldest in Hollywood. You're not going to fucking have the opportunity to be this guy who can like fuck the lover out of a woman on a set and get away with it. He doesn't even have the integrity for that. Because these guys like, they're true artistes in this way, right? Justin Baldoni made 5 Feet Apart a good movie, right? But again, a CBS Studios movie.
I understand that when you're playing a villain and your villain is doing villainous stuff, sometimes it's very useful if you're going to be constructing a character as an actor, right? Or if you're a writer or a director or whatever, right? Yeah. I feel like I understand why you would want to be like, this villain doesn't know what they're doing is wrong.
Right.
Like, yes, they're doing it for power and punishment and they want to feel a sense of control. But the villain doesn't. Some of the best drawn villains are righteous in their own sense of things.
Yes.
And that's what makes them so scary, is because they don't recognize that what they're doing is wrong. They think they're right. So I understand why he would blabbermouth this description of this scene. What I don't understand is why he thinks at all that this is something that you express in promotion for your Sony picture.
This is why I'm
film.
saying he's in over his head. Like,
It's just so fucking
if you're an
weird, 'cause
artist,
not only is like that's a catalyst scene, like you wouldn't want to give it away as a spoiler. You also just like there's just no fucking motivation whatsoever to ever utter that. And look at the fucking
except for you the idea perhaps that you think that there's an accolade coming after it, right? Like, oh, you're so deep kind of accolade, you know?
no
Like
way.
you're such an artiste, you know.
God,
Oh my
he
God, you're the way
he
your mind
kept going
works, man.
too. Like it was like a long paragraph where he could have just been like, you know what, never mind, I'm not going to spoil it, and just like, and whoever was interviewing him would have laughed, and they would have moved on, and he wouldn't have been so embarrassing. Let's see. Cosmic Urgency said, "Am I weird for never having thought of corn as a how-to in any ways not fantasy?" I don't understand what this is.
More as a how-to, you mean?
Yeah.
Or what not to do.
God.
I mean, most of porn is what not to do. Because like most chicks are like, no, that's for the movies, honey.
Oh, so
That's not-
All
that's
Scientists
not
said
hot.
that in Baldoni's deposition that he was asked about this interview.
Hmm.
And that's why I shared it with you, that interview of his.
Oh yeah, we'll probably
Yeah.
revisit it when we
All
finish his
Scientist
depo.
said in his deposition, he said that that didn't happen to him, that he doesn't feel that way, that he made that up because he was simply wanting to make himself more relatable to men who might feel that way.
Yeah, well, we're gonna go over that when we go over his deposition because I'm gonna have so much to say about that. Obviously. All right, you want to call it? You want to call it?
Oh yeah, sure. I didn't get to all the rest of the chat. I'm
Well,
glad
we know you love
you
it.
guys all showed up and you were so engaged.
Hey man, first of all, just shout out to Austin because I know you had to hang in there, and thanks for sticking around because you just contribute so much. So appreciate you, and I'm glad that you were able to, win over the Baldoni fans. I love that this place is a place where we could possibly potentially both exist. When this trial comes, hopefully we'll see some numbers. We had a pretty decent night in terms of visitors tonight, and I'm just really grateful because you guys are, we have a core group of people here who, they are the environment, they are the vibe of this live, and I just really appreciate you guys because I just feel like it's a good chat.
Deanne said that Justin just needed to sage himself more often.
Yeah, I have imagine it immediately. Just imagine him just sitting on a chair and just just putting smoke and ash all over his own damn face.
All right.
We are not going to be here this weekend because we don't know if the United States is going to be here this weekend. Isn't it funny that the that ICE, immigration, customs,
Oh, yeah.
like that ICE, like their kryptonite is ICE? Isn't that funny? And then isn't it also weird that like all this shit is going on about them, and then at the same time, like this, most of the South is going to be covered in ICE. The South where ICE.
Are you saying it's a conspiracy?
I don't know. Maybe
Is it suspicious to you?
it's the Lord. It's the Lord.
So we're getting polar vortex, and if we have power, we will be back on Monday. But if we don't have power, then we will just be like huddled up under blankets.
Yeah, if we don't have power, we should have cell phone power because I'll be able at least to charge all the batteries in the car. And then
okay, cool.
if I got to do that, then I'll at least be able to.
We'll go dispatches from the frozen tundra.
I'll put a post up and let you know if we are back on the though on Monday. On Monday, we're going to jump into the rest of this deposition, and then we're going to go back into Baldoni's, and we'll finish up Baldoni's, and we're just going to read it all, bro. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to read it all.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be that kind of place. All right. You guys are bloody lovely.
The best.
We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys on Monday. I hope you have a perfect weekend. And if you're in the fucking way of this storm, hunker down, be safe, don't drive. Be careful when you're out there. And remember, if you see a car coming at you, even at a slow speed, just fucking keep your eyes on it because it could just start sliding into your direction. So Be safe, be careful. Love the shit out of you guys. We'll see you Monday. Right?
Yeah.
Good night, you guys.
Good night.